We're going to give time for everybody to come in that may be joining us. So we're just going to talk a little bit here before we get started on all the work. We got a lot of stuff to do today. I'm going to try to work on my voice as far as the volume goes because you're going to see here in a little bit. We've taken a lot of stuff out of here and it was doing good sound deadening, and now we've got an echo going on. So I'm going to try to have Gabe listen from time to time, make sure we're not getting too loud, so that you don't have to turn the volume up and down trying to adjust things. So we are, yes.
Andrew and Isaac say hello.
Oh, hello. Glad you're here. So we're going to be doing the three things we're going to be doing, three or four things. We're going to be building the station. We're going to be working on scenery over here in the corner with all that painted area that I just did. And we're going to do testing because as I work on scenery, I always make sure I don't get anything on the tracks. We're doing lots of testing. And we're going to talk about a new big project right here. And there's something else, but I'll remember what it is after we get into it. So I've got everything here that I need. So I think we're pretty good to go. Wait till my son gets done knocking things around here and making noise. So
keeping your controller in the doorway.
Well, if somebody would look when they're walking. But anyway, so we did a lot since we were here on Sunday. Was Sunday the last time we were here? Yeah, it was Sunday. We've done a lot since we were here on Sunday. This inner track that I hadn't finished yet, I've got it down. I had to really correct the curves. I really haven't done a whole lot of testing on it, so we're going to be testing on it today. The wires are right down here. Power pack's all hooked up to it. So we'll be starting off with that, doing the testing. I've got my glues set up. I'm going to show you kind of what you want to see in the cup as far as your mixtures go. We'll mix all that up, so I'll talk about proportions. And I've got some extra in case I don't have enough. Sometimes it's hard to tell until you start working on it. But I'll show you all that here in a little bit. Some big things like I said, have changed. You can probably already start to see some just where you're at. From the last live feed, there's a lot of stuff that you can just look behind me and see there's a shelf missing. So a lot of stuff has been rearranged. We took boxes and boxes of train stuff down to my mom's. We'll be getting ready to have a sale on Facebook Marketplace with all that stuff just to get rid of it and get it out of here. It was all the HO stuff. So I'll show you some of the stuff I uncovered when I was digging through the boxes. We came up with little cars and things here and there. So there's a lot of stuff we're going to be adding to our run stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and do a walk around and show everything that's changed since Sunday and what's to come. And then we will get to the work. Like I said, first thing I'm going to do, I want to get the station glued together. I do have one panel left to show you what needs to be done when you do a 3D print if you're using PLA. It'll be a little noisy to start off with, but I only left one panel of like 8 to be done. So I'll show you how that gets done. And then we will, when we get done with that, we will be moving over into the scenery. That'll take a while because I'm going to go ahead and do that corner and do between the tracks, which is why we're going to be doing some continual testing, is because I'll actually be having to glue stuff down between the tracks, and I might get stuff on the tracks. So we just need to check, make sure we still have good contact with everything. So,
Says, wow.
Who?
Hard to please.
Oh, glad you joined us. So let's do a quick overview of everything, and then we will get started on the projects for the day. Like I said, there's going to be some fun stuff. Well, actually, first thing we'll do is I'll show you the new test of the inner loop. The third one that we did not have done on Sunday. So let's get the camera, and we will.
Rock fan says double thumbs up.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so what scale is this? This is in scale. So let me get my glasses so I can see what's actually on the screen here as I'm doing it. Okay, so here is the big city that we've been working on right here. Not a whole lot's changed here. We just kind of got the room organized for the most part. I did bring the little hotel forward that was been back here forever buried. I'm kind of happy right here where this is at, so I'm probably going to wind up leaving this right here unless I redo this and make the towers taller. But we'll see if we need to do that. So then, of course, now here's a big change right here. You guys couldn't see this before. Now we've got light on it. We've got light on this whole face of this building almost. And that's because, as you will see, these two big shelves that were up here are gone. I've got the holes joint compounded, and that's where the lights were that were the source, and they were really low. But now you can really see this, and we're going to have more lights up above here pretty soon that will light up even the lower areas here pretty soon. Well, here, I'll just go up and show you. Here's the brackets right here that we move the lights up to. Same over here. We got rid of this big shelf that was up here that had lights on it. So now we've got a really good set of lights. Now here's something that is new that you weren't able to see before because we didn't have the lights positioned right. Now you can really see all of the color in the painting and what we did with the carving right here. This was all pretty much in shadow where the lights were placed before. So now we're getting... Yes, somebody asked, are we going to put lights in the building? Yes, all towers will be lit up. We have a total of 20 skyscrapers coming. We've got another one in print right now. We'll have another one started. We'll have 3 of the skyscrapers probably printed by early next week. So yes, they will all be lit, and some will even have interiors in certain areas. So now you can really see all of that I've been doing here. It's just so much better. The lighting situation is just so much better in here now. So now you can see all of this working over here. Let me get this out of the way. Oh, that's good. It's the point where I couldn't see my ties that I'm going to have for a little later. So we'll just put that back right there. Okay, so again, this shelf came out right here. So now we have room to put big skyscrapers right here. I moved everything up. Of course, this shelf will be gone here eventually. I couldn't get the brackets off because I didn't bring up the head I needed for it. I needed the square head bit instead of the Phillips bit to get those off. So I'll get those off. And then, of course, the masonite will go across here and cover all that as it will here for the background. So here's what we worked on. Let me get this out of the way. Here's what I worked on over the past couple of days. I really had to work on this, and I'll show you what we did. Size of the base of the skyscraper. That's a good question. I've really never measured it. Let me take a look here. It is, let me just set this down right here for a sec. It is, the skyscraper has a little over 6-inch by 4-inch base. And it's, well, I know what the height is. Height's like 30 inches tall. Okay, so this is what we worked on. What? Big of the size of the base tracks. You mean the roadbed? Roadbed's about 1 inch across. This is in scale, so it's small. Okay, so right here, I had to flatten this curve. As you guys remember, we were having a lot of issues. I couldn't run 6 axles right here. This was terrible. So I actually added some extra roadbed here to bump this out, and I trimmed the back side here, got it to where it's all pretty even. And then we came down here and I got all this, and you can see I still have the gaps here. We're gonna rectify this situation today.
It's the size of the base of the whole setup.
Oh, you want to know the footprint of the whole layout? Footprint of the whole layout is about 7 foot by 9 foot. So we got about 63 square feet double. We got another layer down here that we'll be working on. That we will have a helix over here in the corner that's going to be going down to the 2nd level. Okay, so then over here I had to do the same thing. You can actually see here it's not painted yet. I actually, here's a piece of patch roadbed right here to give a little more depth in this corner when I had to cut the corner a little bit. So I think, this is just the glue mix for later, and I'll talk about that when we actually get to that. I haven't stirred it in or anything yet at this stage, so I'm just going to set this over here and out of the way. That's just a little extra soap if I need it, detergent. So then we came around and I worked on all this. I ground everything down. It seems like everything is good. So I think, I really haven't tested anything on it since I put it all in. So I think we're just going to go ahead and fire an engine up and see how it goes. We'll bring it around. As you can see, I did hardwire it in. So everything is done there. So let me uncover. Somebody asked if we're going to make mountains. Yes, we are going to make mountains. They're going to be on the 2nd level. Up here is going to be all the skyscrapers in the city. I'm going to have a fairly decent mountain underneath here that's going to go all the way up underneath. We'll have some tunnels and bridges. It'll kind of stretch back behind my work table and a little bit over here before we get to all the industry, and having a monstrous, huge station right here with the turnaround for the dog bone to head back to the helix. Okay. Yes, we are. We are going to be doing a test run with my favorite little engine right here. Oh, I love all of them, but this guy, I just love the paint scheme on him. We're going to run him around this track, and we're going to see how I did on as far as rectifying the curve situation. So let me get the power on. Power's on. There we go. 2 levels. We have 2 levels on the layout. Potentially 3 in the future. All right. So here we go. So now we'll see if flattening that curve really helped, if I'm still going to have to tweak it some more. Because it does 4-axle engines fine in shorter cars, but it was not doing anything this size or bigger. So we'll just see how it comes along here. Okay, that's pretty good. I don't see, nope, none of the wheels are off. That curve's really good. This is a bad curve down here. I had a real issues with this one. Let's see how it does. It does slow down a little bit, probably a little bit of binding there, but it goes right through it without any problem. So I think we're okay. I'll let it go through again. Somebody asked how long to finish the layout. Upper level should be done within the next probably 6 months, even though it's massive. And lower level, probably another 4 to 6 months down below. So we're looking probably about a year's time. Yeah, now I can start to see everything on the upper level. And actually I'll be moving stuff down to the lower levels that I don't need initially. Okay, so that one's doing all right. It does slow down right here. And as I'm looking at the curve, you can see it's a little tight right here. I may tap the nails a little bit, see if I can get that worked out. It doesn't derail or anything, it just slows down, and that's because those 6-axle wheels are kind of binding as it goes around right here. But I think I can work that out. If I ever need to, it's just I like things working perfectly. So we'll see how this looks down at angle here. Right there is where it slows down just a little bit till it hits the straight stretch. That also could be getting towards the end of the electric run, because I only have 1 power feed right here too. So it just could be, because there's a joint right there close, and it could just be that I need to make, maybe put a little power feed right there. That might actually help too. So we could do that, put another power feed over there on that side. Right before it gets to this jump area right here, this expanded cross area. So I'm gonna increase the speed just a little bit. Well, that sailed through it nice. So I don't know, maybe adding extra little bit of power right there got enough into the lines. Yeah, I probably am going to add an extra power line though, just to the other side. Because there's so much going to be going on right here, I'm going to have power here. And I'm not seeing any of the wheels come off. Everything looks good. That's going to look really good when we start to film, when I get all this done. My next thing this week, before we get together again, is I'm going to get this done right here. Yeah, I would try power feed first because that's an easy. Yep, it is. I agree. I am going to try, but now I've got extra power to it. If you watch, there's no slowdown. So I definitely think it's a power issue versus a binding up issue. So I'm just going to throw a power lead right over here somewhere and just run it underneath and get it back to the thing. I think that's probably what I'm going to do. You guys talk louder with the engine going around. Switches I don't have in just yet. I'm gonna power this guy off because I'm gonna change the leads, and we're gonna see how I've been doing with pounding on everything. Make sure my other tracks haven't adjusted. There are going to be a ton of switches right here. In fact, probably before we get together again this weekend, I'm going to be adding on an extra 4 inches of bench work right here, so that I have room for some sidings, staging things. And these are kind of my staging main lines to get to the rest of the layout, because this helix back here is going to get us up to the height right here of our elevated track, and our switching, our point-to-point sidings that are going to be right here. So that helix will solve all those problems, but I'm going to have a way of getting everything down here that I stage over to there. So I just don't know where the switches are going to go yet. That's why I just went ahead and put track down. I probably will not ballast this area until I get all of that figured out. But I still have plenty of extra ballasting I have to do. I've got to get all of that done. I've got to finish getting all around here done and all the way to here. And then I'll start figuring all the rest of that out. So,
Children's Hospital in Dallas has the most incredible train setup.
oh, that's nice. Said it has a really great setup at a children's hospital in Dallas. Well, that's great for the kids. That's wonderful. I'm glad to hear that. I'm going to take this off.
Train full set.
Well, thank you. Okay, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to make sure that during all of my work here and pounding with the hammer and everything, nothing is really adjusted because I didn't have all my tracks completely tacked down yet when I was working on this because I just want to make sure I had some playroom with it. So we're just going to go ahead and we're going to test the rest of the lines here. So what I'm going to do is right here you can see. Somebody asked if I drew the layout out beforehand. No, I did not. In fact, if let me see which one I want here. If you've been with us on some of you that have been with us on the lives, you'll know that I actually didn't. I finally settled on an actual track plan. Not more than 2 weeks ago. We've been building for 6 months, and I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I had no idea where I was going to go with this layout. What I was going to do. I just knew what scenery I wanted where. So I started working with the scenery end of it, and as it developed, then I started developing the track plan. Because like I said the last time, this right here was supposed to be right here over these tracks, and there was only supposed to be 2 tracks. This was going to be the foundation for the station that we were going to have along here. Now we have the station coming right here. I'm actually going to be cutting this apart and reusing it, and we're going to have the station right here. This big building is going to push out over the top of this. We're going to create something like this over this whole area right here. This is going to come out, and we're going to have the station sitting right here. The station we're going to get ready to build here in just a little bit. This is actually an old panel for something that we are going to be talking about a little bit later today. That's coming very, very soon. It's a new building, something that's going to be going right here. So let's get to testing that engine out right there. Make sure I didn't mess anything up. There she comes. And if you're curious about it at all, we're not sponsored by them or anything, but I'll tell you these are all Katos.
Michael Gross is very cool.
Well, thank you, Michael. You can see how that looks now that we've got light on it with that rock in the background. Now that you can actually see like all of this stuff. Yes, this is in scale. I'm going to kick a little power to it here. I'm just making sure these areas right here, and we're going to be testing this all day today as we go along when I start working on the scenery back in this corner, making sure I don't get anything on the tracks. All right, I want to come down and get low and see if I can see the wheels. Nope, they're all still on there just fine. Yep, that'll work great. I'll just make sure we'll test all 3 tracks here, make sure we're good to go. All aboard, next stop, Chicago. Yep, Chicago's only about 45 miles from us. Yeah, nice, okay. Now, sides of these engines are a little dark because they're getting towards the peak area away from our light source, but I'm going to show you here in a minute what's getting ready to happen up on the ceiling. Oh, thank you. Now that you can actually see it, this is actually the first time you're actually able to really see the rock wall and it's not in shadow. That was because of what I did with it this past 2 or 3 days. Okay, so that's doing really good. So we're just gonna. Oh, very good. Yeah, S is a cool gauge, but boy, it's expensive. A lot more than even O, which is bigger. All right, so we're gonna change the fees. I'm gonna get this set up to where it'll just be a quick plug system here fairly soon. I'll be working on that the next week or so as I set up a little control area right here for everything. I'm not doing a whole lot because I'm just working with DC right now. And as soon as I get the DCC in, then I'll set up something really official and all that. Okay, so we're going to bring this engine on around. There we go. Just testing this last one for all the hammering and banging I did. Make sure nothing shifted or moved on me while I was working on these outside lines. Okay, right in here is what's going to start if we're going to have an issue. Nope, doesn't seem to be so far. Keep your fingers crossed. It's always the curves. Get in here and look and see the wheels. Nope, wheels are fine. Oh yeah, and that looks really nice against that rock wall now. I'm really happy with that. That I have no idea. I'm not that familiar with the whistles, the horns of the engines. I know that the soundboards, they actually do a lot of research to make sure they get the right horns and stuff with the for the engines that you buy them for, but I really don't know a whole lot about that. Okay, we're gonna back these guys right here, which is kind of good, getting them down here out of the way over so they're not over my work area, because I'm going to be working with glues and paints down here today while we're working on stuff, and I don't need to have paint flying up and hitting this. I'm going to recover these for right now. But then as soon as we get to the as soon as we get to doing this, like I said, then we'll keep testing the track to make sure I don't get anything covered. I went down and in the bag I have downstairs, I got another whole cup of the sand that I use. This right here is what is all along back here. So you'll be able to see how I get that applied along with the Woodland Scenics dirt and all the little coarse turf that's right here. So we will be doing all that this afternoon, getting down through in between the tracks right here. I will go ahead and stuff some paper towels down in here. That will give that, as they get wet, they'll become really, it's like paper mache type of thing with the glue and everything mixed in it. It'll fill these gaps up pretty good. So we will be getting to that. Let me get this out of the way right here. And then we will go into putting the ties in here this afternoon and getting that to where it's all level. So, and then we'll retest there on that too. So we're going to have lots of testing with the engines today. I may throw that guy on the track. I'm not sure. I'm going to move him away from the paint and the glue area. Okay. Oh, well, yeah. The guy said he went to an estate sale and had a train running right through his house. We've got a guy that lives in Florida, and he's building his in his dining room, and he's going to put a tunnel in the wall and have it go into his living room. So, oh, where's my? I'm going to put. Hello, Norm.
Isaac says, it's hard to type today. I injured my finger with an X-Acto blade.
I've done that many times, getting injured with an X-Acto blade. All right, I'm going to cover my engines here. So I just don't have to worry about them while I've got material flying around and stuff. I just leave these guys out for testing. I know I could just do one, but it's just easier for me to test having three on here. It's the only three engines I've got, so it works out fine. All right, so what we're going to work on to start off with, and it's not going to take very long to glue this at all.
Michael says need a homeless camp next to the tracks.
Need a homeless camp next to the tracks. Oh dear, I didn't realize that was on the tracks there. That's why I keep testing. We're actually going to have, this is going to be like an old area of the city right here. Because I have to have the elevated come out over here. We're going to have a building here, and we're going to have an old overpass right here. And we're going to have two tracks coming in that are going to be dead lines right here with a tunnel. And we're going to probably put like wrecked cars and things underneath here. I thought I'd probably put an encampment of some sort right here. So we do have that coming. We've got this space set aside for that. So it may adjust a little bit as I'm trying to figure out my switching over here, but we will probably that's probably what's going to happen. So let's. Hello.
Happy New Year's, by the way. I know it's way early in the day, but you never know how long you would stream and or see next slide.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, Happy New Year to you too, Isaac. Okay, let's get this out of the way. I'm gonna set the camera up. I'm gonna get this area in focus. We're gonna work on throwing this together. That's the PLA glue we're gonna use. It dries almost instantly, so we're gonna be able to put this together in a matter of about 10-20 minutes. I'll show you what you have to do if you start doing PLA printing. We're gonna work on this right here. I've got a couple areas. Let me get this over here. There's a couple of these trim areas right here. You can see where my thumb is right here that I have to file and grind down to get rid of the, let's see, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it. Maybe I can throw it in the reflection here. You can see the layering of the printer in this area. So I've got to get rid of this so that when the trim paint goes on right here, I don't have any of that. We'll see you next year. Thank you. So we're gonna do this real quick. I'm gonna grind this, sand this, and then we're gonna glue all of this together. I'll move this off and I'll be working on the wax paper. I always work on wax paper when I'm using this glue because then it won't stick to my table. It doesn't stick to the wax paper either. That's one thing I learned real quick is you definitely want to use the wax paper for doing this kind of stuff. So let me set the camera up and we will see what kind of a view we can get here of the table without having this stuff sitting on my tray. Well, that's pretty good right there. Okay. Does that look pretty good on the screen?
I'll come in and zoom it in.
Oh. Okay. So I got to use this to start off with. We're going to Dremel these areas right here. This isn't really Dremel. This is I don't know, Performax, but it works just as good. So I'm going to take and I'm going to do this. All right. So
there we go.
All right. This isn't in the way, is it?
No.
If I have this like right here and I'm working.
You
okay.
can still see it.
'Cause I have
Hello,
to-
everyone.
Because I'll have to use that. Let's get the light on.
Isaac says, I bought a KD-HO number 206 coupler gauge, and it was useful. Wish I had bought one sooner.
Yeah, coupler gauges are great.
Asked if there's one for N scale.
Yes, there is one for N scale.
And, let's see.
All right.
Andri Art Studio says hi.
Hi, glad you joined us. We're just going to do some grinding and some filing here real quick. And then we're going to glue this station together, and then we're going to start working on scenery right over here. So we got a whole lot on the docket today. All right, so they're going to get noisy, so you might want to turn it down. As you know, Dremels are really noisy, so I've just got to do a quick little knockdown. I use this to do a quick knockdown of the surface, and then I use my files to get the rest of it with a little bit of sandpaper, and we're good to go. And then I'll show you how you clean up like little bits of filament if you have like brick and things like that. So let me do this real quick, and then we'll get to gluing this whole station together. I angle it so I can catch the reflections in the light so that I can see if I've gotten the layers off. Like I said, this doesn't take any time, about 5-10 minutes to get everything on a panel done. I think it took me yesterday about an hour to get everything completely filed and sanded on all the rest of those pieces, which is not bad. If it had been a non-textured surface like this and it's a flat surface I needed to do, I've shown you guys before in other live feeds. I just use a palm sander, an electric palm sander, and we just knock through it real quick. When you're working with highly detailed stuff like this and textured surfaces, you got to have to go with this and a file. So just bear that in mind. But this is all it really takes to get yourself something that looks just as good as if you come out of a resin printer without all the fumes. Okay, so all we got left to do is this, and then just some filing. You can clean up all this
stuff right here, all these little bits that you can see kind of building up, that's the extra, that's the layers that we're trying to get rid of. So it's doing its job, getting everything done. We almost got it. That's good.
HO is the most common, I believe at this point, but N scale is climbing pretty quick. Okay, so I have, there you go, that's what I do. So he said he bought a bunch of stuff for $20, sold the track and kept the trains. When I go to train shows, I'll do the same thing. I'll make deals at the train shows, and I'll keep what I want for myself, and then I'll sell the rest to cover the cost. All right, all I'm doing is taking my bristle brush right here, and I'm just cleaning off the surfaces of the files. You want to do this every now and then just to keep the buildup from happening. I've got some paint right here. This one I hit this before I got everything before paint had been dry, and I just shouldn't have done that. That was just stupid on my part. Okay, so now I've got everything I need. So now at this point, all we're going to do is we're just going to knock all the rest of this off real quick, and then use a little bit of my 600 grit sandpaper that we have, and we will be done, and we'll start to do assembly. This is quite the station. It's based on the one in Nova Scotia, Canada, but it's just got such a classic look. It could be just about anywhere. It could be back east in the United States and on certainly pretty much anywhere in Europe, I would think. This is a file we found online. If it's a station you like, after you see it, just it was on Thingiverse, and I think it just said Nova Scotia Station. I just typed in looking for kind of Victorian style, old style stations, and this is the one that came up. So it's okay. So let me tell you real quick before I go any further. First way I go is this way with sanding, just to make sure I can get everything knocked off really well. Then I go the other way. I go 90 degrees and I go up and down, because this way when I paint and I do my weathering, if there are any gouges made by the file that I don't see, they'll be up and down, and it'll weather like streaks. So you want to make sure that if you do any filing on something like this, any kind of model, and you're going to be doing weathering and painting and all that, just be aware of how that works with the painting. So now we'll go this way. Let me that cleaned off, and then we'll just do this. Get this one first. Up and down. Well, it'd be considered up and down. Right now it's going, it looks, for you guys, the orientation is probably side to side. To me, it's orientation is side to side. Well, no, actually, the camera is, this is probably up and down versus the other way. So we just do that. Now you have to keep in mind, if you have trim like this, you don't want to go all the way over, because you're going to take this down to nothing. So you just, now I'll flip it around. This trim right here is a lot shorter in height, so I'll be able to get to this and be able just to knock this down, just like this. And then we will get the stuff around it cleaned. I'll show you how we do that here in a second. All right, gonna do the same thing right here. This oh, well, Happy New Year to you too. Thank you very much. But I can't, because of this jet out right here, I can't come in and go this way, so I'm only going to be able to file this one in this direction. It just happens that way sometimes, and you just kind of, you may not get it completely filed down the way you want it, but it'll be close enough. I mean, nobody's really going to notice unless they get up close to the magnifier if you've got any problems, issues. If I didn't get all of the layer lines from the filament taken care of, there's only going to be very few left. The Dremel took care of about 90% of it. All right. can't remember, is this backside or front side? We'll figure it out in a minute. I'll just pop up the picture he had. I'll show you guys what I'm building here. I'll pop up the image and I'll show you why I really like this guy's stuff, what he does for his people to get his files. All right, so all I have left to do is this down here. Same thing. I can't go side to side with it, so we're just going to go up and down. Here we go. And this is a really nice station when it comes together. Very decent size. And I'll be able to actually set it over there and show you guys how it's going to look in the space. As this thing is going to dry within probably 10-15 minutes. Total cure time is 24 hours, it says, but I had found that within a half an hour, I can be moving things around that I glue together. I, of course, wouldn't paint it until, 24 hours later, just to make sure wherever glue may be would be dry. But also, I am going to be puttying this thing, and I might be doing that later today too. We might do that in the feed. If you've never worked with putty, I'll be showing you how we do that, how we accomplish that. Okay, so let me take a look here. That's pretty good. So now I'm just going to take the sandpaper, and I'm just going to knock the rest of this off. See how it looks. That's pretty good. Then along the foundation, expect to see a little bit of wear, and that's why I don't go crazy getting everything off down here. It gives some texturing to it. But up here, I want to make sure it's pretty good. That's pretty good up there. So last thing to do is these raised areas right here. I always just give a little bit of a sand down on those, just to get them smooth. Okay. So let me get a paper towel here. Here's what this is also good for, these really stiff bristles. Inside the brick areas, there's like filament thread and things from when it was printing and the little head was moving across and doing it. So if I've got something to have texture, I just take this and I just work it into the textured areas. And it pretty much removes most of that stuff. Any that's left over is really just, I don't worry about it. But this really cleans up the rest of the surface. There we go.
Apparently, I found out the Boston rail cars, at least the ones I had 8 years ago, have different truck systems how they attach to the body than those other ones I found in the street. So I wonder why that is.
A lot of the older manufactured cars do have different ways they have their trucks put on. Somebody said that he got some Bachmann stuff and it was different from the way other manufacturers attach their trucks. Okay, so we are ready. So now we're just going to move this out of the way. I'm going to get this out of the way, this out of the way, this out of the way, get this out of the way. I'll show you what we're going to ready to build because I've got to have the instructions up anyway because I didn't keep anything organized. All right, I need to get all of these things. I'm going to be needing all of these ties a little later when we're filling in those areas. So let me get this popped up here. I should have already had this popped up, but let me just do it real quick. And I'll show you the station. All right.
Larry says hello.
Hello, glad you joined us. All right. So it takes a little bit for Thingiverse to pull up the files. So here's what we're working on. Yes, I know it's a blank screen. It's coming. Trust me. Got to get all their advertising. So there is the station that we're working on right there. So what he did, it's a very nice looking station. So this is what it's eventually going to look like. We already have everything is printed. I'm just working on the foundation. So this is what he gave us. He actually gave us a great diagram of how this thing goes together with the actual names of the stuff. And what's really nice is he named his files the same name as what he has here. So it's not like file 1, file 2, file 3. He actually has them named, and it makes it easy to identify what goes where. So I want to get the front of the building. We're going to start with that, and we'll just kind of build from there. So I'm just going to set this over here so I can see it, and I'm going to start finding the right pieces. So obviously I need this piece. I took some extra care yesterday since this is the, oh, that was one thing I did forget to do. Let's see here. I noticed it when I was looking at that. When you get done filing, you're going to see around the edges, I don't know if this, the extra filing material that's over the edges. So all you got to do is just take your X-Acto and just quickly remove. I always go around pretty much every little edge just to make sure everything is good and straight. And since this is a front piece, we certainly want everything here looking really sharp. So you just come in and just do little things like that.
I just says I have another rail car. I don't know what brand it is, but it didn't have the same mounts as the Bachmann one, so I cut the mounts off of the Bachmann. As the other rail car is flat instead of protrusion. So I cut it so it was flat like the other rail car. And except for the other truck style.
Well, good. So you can work the problems out with the trucks without any problem. All right. So I'm going to just clean this.
Angela asked for scale.
This is in scale. It looks big, but it's in scale. The door openings here, by time, this is just a massive opening because it has a lot of like, what do they call those things? Lights above it, the windows. And then there's doors down here. So it's just, this is in scale. That's how I made the file, and we checked everything, and it does look pretty good. All right, so here is, let me make sure I've got everything kind of cleared out of the way because I need a good flat surface right here so that as it's gluing, I can move stuff around, get my brushes out of the way. That's what I was using to paint track the other day when you guys were with us. All right.
Wow, that's really detailed for STL.
Yes, it is. And this is a 3D print, which makes it even more impressive. Somebody actually took the time to put all this brickwork in and to do all of this. So I'm very grateful that he did. All right, so there's two versions of this wall. You have the back wall, which has a freight door, and you have this front wall, which just has the trim. So these go together like this right here. And I did a lot of work yesterday on trying to get that to, there's still going to be a gap that I will deal with putty. And then I'll just kind of carve a little bit of brick back in. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to just start gluing this together. I'll try to do it like this so that the camera, you can pick up the look of it, how we're doing it. You should be able to get an idea of it that way. Okay, so this is what I use for PLA. I've got different glues for different things. This is Bondtech, best stuff I found. Let me see here. Is it all right? I never used this before, and this is my first bottle. You can see how bad I did not keep the things clean the way I should have. And I wound up having tape because I had holes and I had to use pliers to get it off. It's critical on this that before you cap this back up, you clean everything on the tip inside, including the threads. So, because this stuff will just glue it right to it, and then when you start having to use pliers to pull it apart, you squeeze the tube shut at the top, and you got to poke holes in it and everything else. So, that's just a little tip for me. If you wind up using any of this stuff, fantastic, but you got to take a little precaution when you get ready to be done with everything. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a bead of glue right along here, and then I'll probably wind up having to dab it a little bit because little goes a long ways. And if you're familiar with working with super glues, you know they say to clean off excess because too wet and it won't adhere. All right, so I think you probably, let me move this over into here so we've got a little bit of the light so I can kind of tip things in. You'll probably be able to see that pretty good. So we're just going to put a little bead right here, and then if it's too much, which it will be, it always is, I'll just dab it off. Okay, so put this over, and then we'll just dab. Okay. You don't have to worry about cure time or anything, waiting for anything to dry up. It's ready to go as it is. So we will just take this, and we will just line it up, and we will push it together. And I do this on a level surface so that it'll all be level. So the thing here is we cut this apart before we printed, so the angles are a little more difficult when we're working with angles, but it'll still be just fine. I'm going to look on top, make sure I'm getting it pretty well parallel. I am. So I'm hoping I got.
My son recently got the model training. He doesn't have N scale, he has HO scale.
Uh-huh.
Yes, 5 trains in a tiny layout.
Oh, well, HO is a good thing to get started with. I went with N-Scale. Somebody was talking about how his son got into it, and he's doing HO. I went with N-Scale because right here I have a 7 foot by 9 foot space I'm working with, and I can either have tons and tons of details with N-Scale or very little with HO. All right, so that is doing fine. I'll let that sit for a minute. I may have to add a little extra glue. It's feeling like it's a little iffy. So we'll work on the back while we're waiting on that. So these are all side pieces. These are the 2 side pieces that go on the ends. So I know that's what those are, so I'll set those aside for right now. And I shall get this.
About the trucks, Isaac says I never be able to have an exact answer. As train goes, you never pinpoint exactly what you'll find, but it is easy to find a whole bunch of wheel sets. You have wheels are made metal instead of plastic.
Wheel sets metal, that's what you want anyway. Most people are changing over that, keeps your track clean instead of plastic. All right. Kind of pulling this apart, seeing if I'm getting getting a good bond here, and it is. So within about 5-10 minutes, this will be pretty much rock solid. We'll be able to start to build the whole perimeter. So I'll start working on the back right here. Let's see, we're gonna go, let's see, this is the middle part on the back, I'm sure this is. So this is gonna have to go, let's see here. There we go. This goes like this. Same thing, we're just going to put a bunch of glue in there. I may leave most of that this time. I think I dabbed off too much on that front one. I'm having to deal with these little bricks and stuff on the side here. All I'm going to do is just spread this around a little bit so it's not so much in one single place. All right, so we'll see how we do with this. Sure I'm kind of getting straight. Yep, it is. Now, one thing I found that when you start putting these together, if you don't build it perfectly like they have, I mean, if you're off a little bit here and there, you're probably going to have to adjust your roof panels a little bit by just sanding a few things in spots. It's not that big a deal to have to do, but just be aware of it that it's not like, this is not like building a kit from Walthers or something like that where it has all those little nubs that stick out to show you exactly how far you're supposed to glue the walls together and gives you that perfect fit in. This is not like that when you build this stuff. So you got to do a little bit of thinking ahead on your own, and you may have to do some adjustments. But if you just take your time, it's fine. I find these builds are just as good as anything that comes out from the manufacturers. Oh, that's better. That's definitely going to adhere a lot better by adding a little extra on there.
Isaac asks, if you find a rail car at a train show like HO 3, how would you be able to tell what brand it is?
Somebody asked us the last time we were doing, how can you tell what brand a car is? Usually it'll be either printed on the underside of the car, or you just have to get knowledgeable about what the cars look like by maybe the couplers that come with it. The overall like finish of the car, because some brands are just really very basic versus some of the others, even older kits. So you just have to kind of do some looking and just compare on your own. And if you do, you'll be fine. All right. I'm going to just squeeze this right here. I really want this top seam right here to be really good. Top part of the seam. So this is not taking too long. You can see this other one's already, the front's pretty much already set up. I'm about ready to, and if it's like not straight, perfectly straight lining up, that doesn't matter. The roof panels will take care of that. It'll bow stuff back out the way it's supposed to. So, that's not an issue. If you see something like that, I'm aware that uh, it's not quite straight parallel. The two pieces aren't parallel with each other. But I've done these enough where I'll know what to do. Well, I know what gets corrected with adding the extra pieces on. So you just have to, don't try to do everything perfect because there's a lot of give and take with these models. And you can get it all worked out by steps on down the line. All right, so we just about got that, I think. Yeah, that lined up pretty good down there. I'm not going to do a little bit of puttying, but not a whole lot. All right, so I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this one. He's not standing upright for some reason. I'm just going to prop him up against this bottle back here. So I can go back to work on the front. All right, so the front one's going to take this guy right here. I was working up above and I had a lot of, I had things covered and I moved things, but when I was taking those shelves down, a lot of stuff dropped onto the table here, and I thought I got it all cleaned up, but there was some bits there. All right, how are we doing here? Oh, that's pretty much solid as a rock now, almost. I can do a few adjustments right here, so I can actually do a little straightening. And a little puttying right there, and that'll be done. You can see it's already to where I can do that. I mean, that's how good this glue is. And again, this bows in that way just a little bit, but when I put the roof in, the roof panels in, it's going to push everything back out. I'm not going to mess with that until I'm ready to, because then this will be such a strong bond right here that it's not going to matter. All right, so let's get this guy on. He goes right. Make sure I got the right panel. Yep, he goes right there. Okay. Make sure I get it all in the spots it needs to be. Okay. All right, so I'll try to turn this a little bit again so I'm not working too far away where you can't see what I'm doing.
Shout-out says, what you making?
I am making, somebody asked what I'm making. I am making a station. Well, I'm assembling a station. This is a 3D printed station from Nova Scotia, Canada that I just found is going to work really well for what I want for my layout because I really love the style. So we are putting together the carcass of the station today, and then we're moving on to, after this, we're going into doing landscaping, and then we're going to work on some track stuff. And so we're just doing a whole bunch of projects today. I just want to get this done so it'd be dry, so that by the time I get done doing some of the landscaping that I'm going to do, I can actually pick this up and show you guys where this is going to go on the layout. So... yeah, a beautiful area. Okay, so this actually gets, just so you know, the roof panels on this will make this much taller. Again, half again as high as it is now. So I just not going to glue those together today because those panels are actually flat and I have to use the hand sander, the palm sander, the electric one, to do those. So I won't be doing those today until I get that sanded, but probably by the time we get together on Saturday, I'll have those done so we can put the roof together. And then all of these get an insert. It's a beautiful little insert. He made everything separate to where it's just perfect. So I'm really happy with this kit so far. If this sets up enough today, which it will, after I get everything together, I'll show you guys where's my putties here somewhere. I'll dig it out and we will do some puttying on the edges right here, and I'll show you how to get that. I've got a gray Tamiya putty. It could be down in my toolbox. Oh, it's right down in the toolbox, so I'll be able to get it, and we'll just putty everything along these edges. And then what we'll do on Saturday is I'll let that dry for a number of days. I'll show you how you really make it blend in so you don't see it, because it'll actually come in with the X-Acto blade. And we will, I'll bring the lines of the bricks around the corner so that there's a break in the putty so it'll look like the bricks wrap around. So I'll show you how we do all that on Saturday, because I've got to let this set up for a few days. All right, now it's getting kind of full back here, so I'm going to just push this back. I'll let this be setting up back here. And then we're going to find, this is it right here. Oh, this is what I was talking about. Here's how you can tell the front from the back. These are the freight doors that are right here. The front side is just all windows. It's very impressive looking. It's really nice. And this is the business end of the building. So, all right, we are going to, let's see here. This goes here and goes like this, and it goes like that. Double check on that. Yep. Fantastic. Like I said, fantastic. Get rid of those stupid ads. No, I don't need that. I don't need whatever you're selling. So close, please. Close. There we go. Close. Of course. The buttons that Thingiverse put up now, even though the little X is right there and you hit it, you can't touch the screen very hard. Otherwise, it just clicks in no matter what you do anyway. But anyway, we've got all of these pieces printed. The top has a great dome that goes into it. There's a big area that goes here. This thing actually extends about another 3 or 4 inches with the clock tower. So we will be doing all of that. All right, so we're going to put glue here. We're almost got this thing together. We just have to do the 2 ends and bring the 2 fronts and backs together. So I got a little liberal there with the glue, so we'll just there. Okay. So now we will glue these 2 together. And again, I tried to get these 45-degree angles filed pretty good. Everything kind of come together fairly decently, and they seem to be. It seems to be coming together pretty quick. So I'm not going to have a whole lot I'm going to have to putty, but I can see where some bricks have broken off that wrap over the corners. So I'll have to make sure I putty those areas, and I'll have to recarve some of the bricks. That's not that big a deal. I knew when I saw these bricks on the ends right here that I was going to have issues, that some were going to break off on me. But that's all right. I mean, that's part of modeling. You just, you get done what you got to get done. All right. Let's see here. That's squeezing together pretty good. Yeah. Oh, and it's now starting to stand upright on its own. That's even better. Okay, so now what I'll do is I'm going to move this back over here. I'm going to give it just a couple seconds to tack up. Move back over here, and then I'll take my 2 end pieces and I'll glue them to the front wall, and then we'll put this on the back, and we'll be done. That'll have this station done. Then we'll let it sit while we're working on landscaping. And then when it's all dried up and good, I'll keep checking on it to make sure everything's staying square. And then we will come and I'll set it over where it's going to go, and you'll see how it's going to kind of be over the tracks. But it's going to be a really cool looking area. All right, so let's see here. Yep, we're good. You can see that's already good there. Didn't even come apart. I'm going to tip this back a little bit. All right. Yeah, I mean, I could just. I'm not even holding the edge. You can see I'm not even touching where I glued. It's fine. So that's just that glue and this glue. This is what I use for regular plastic. A lot of people don't like this glue because they don't realize you have to do a little bit of work with the tip down here to get it to work. Inside the package of this, they include a thin wire that if you use a pair of needle nose, you can just jam it down in there and you can get the thing cleaned. This stuff melts plastic and makes your seam stronger than the original plastic is. I will never use anything but that stuff. All right, so we're going to do this corner. It doesn't matter on these 2 are identical. I pick one, put it on one side, and do the other on the other side. And yeah, I can definitely see this one. I'm going to have to, oh, it's already tacking up great. So when I get ready to have to put the roof panels in, it'll all straighten itself out. No big deal. All right, so we're just going to go ahead, and once we start doing this, it will get to where nothing falls over. All right. Got a nice bead of glue right there. I don't know why I did that. I was trying to smooth it around and wound up putting a little too much on, so we just do a little dab, 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 dab. Okay.
As it says, I kept asking old rail car together
heights of couplers can be taken care of with the coupler boxes themselves, adjusting that, or you adjust wheel height, the trucks themselves, by putting washers underneath. That's the easiest way to do it that I've found. Okay, there's
John Zeller says I use that rabbit glue all the time. Great stuff.
the testers, I'm assuming. Somebody said they uses it all the time. I'm assuming that's what he means is the testers. It is. It's fantastic stuff. Okay, there's a fairly decent gap here. Let's see if I can push this together up here at the top and get it really. I might just not have this lined up right. Oh, that's a little better. There, that's a little better. Okay, I just had it pushed out a little too far, and it was giving me too much of a gap. Now it's doing pretty good. It's doing much better anyway. But it's not tacking up the way I need it to. So I've got some issues with this end wall. It's about 90 degrees, so we'll see what happens here. If it does enough. If not, I'll take it off and I'll work with it. See what happens. I may just backfill the gap on the back side with the glue. I'm seeing a fairly decent sized gap, which means it's only being held together in a couple of spots. You know, I'm going to bring it in a little bit just so it, oh, there we go. There we go. I'm able to see through the corner here to the wax paper down below. And I can see a couple little areas that are reflecting. So that's what I've been talking about here. So I'm just going to have to hold this here for just a little bit until it really tacks up. I don't see that gapping anymore. I'm seeing it as soon as I let go and I don't have the pressure on it, it's not holding. So I have got an issue here with the model itself. I think I'm going to have to let this glue dry and I may have to file this side down a little bit. I'll see though. No, it's not holding at all. There's too much. There's something here. And I checked this, but see, I didn't have the ability yesterday when I was checking it to, with this all together to see that I was probably pushing it a little further out. So let's check the other side. Let's see how it goes. I'm gonna have to...
William says, hi from the UK. Have a great new year.
Oh, hi from the UK. Glad you joined us. Happy New Year to you too. All right, is this any better? Or am I going to have to really work on these sides? Well, I'm not seeing nearly the gap on that side. I'm not having a... Okay, so let's try it. This side may be okay. If not, I'll wipe them down. I'll grind them down a little later, and then we'll do it. We'll let all this stuff dry. Okay. I did not see the gapping on this like I did on the other side. Hardest part is just trying to get it lined up. Yeah, I'm not seeing any gapping here on this side at all. But I can't tell with my hand in the way if I'm at a 90 degree.
Chris
So.
says, hey, how's it going? What are you working on today?
Oh, hey, glad you joined us. We are working on a bunch of stuff today. This is just one part of what we're working on today. We are doing a station here, N-scale station that's going to be spanning over our tracks. And then next step is going to be right there in the corner, kind of where the camera is. We're going to be doing some landscaping. We've got a bunch of, I brought up some extra sand and everything, and the Woodland Scenics. We've got a thing ready to go for doing that. And then we're going to do some track work. And then, of course, testing everything. We always test because I've got a lot of stuff that's going to be working around the rails. So we'll be running our engines back and forth, making sure everything's working. So we just have a whole bunch of stuff that we are in the middle of. Okay, this is actually standing up a little bit better. I only see a tiny little gap right here in the middle. This end's going to be fine. So it's just that other end that I'm going to have to sand. So that's pretty good. This will be rock solid here fairly quickly. And I should be able to go ahead and put that back wall on here so everything is together, and then I'll see what it is. Maybe once I've done that, and I've got a way of, oh yeah, this is got.
You know what station it is or what name it is?
Yes, somebody asked what the station this is. This is the Nova Scotia station. This is, you probably can't see the picture. This is what we're building right here. This was an STL file, free STL file from Thingiverse. And so you can see we're working on this lower section right here. We have everything else all printed, ready to go. So we will be, today we're just doing the foundation around here, getting it done. Then I'll get all these pieces sanded and we'll put this together probably Saturday. This is doing much better right here. I only see one little tiny gap right here. But again, let this stuff dry. I made the glue a little thicker than I probably should have. It's going to take a little longer to firm up. But now I'm not seeing any gaps at all. I'm not seeing any light coming through the corner of where I put this together. So that's a good thing. But I also kind of overlapped it a little bit. And I'll have to do a little sanding right there. But maybe that's what I need to do on the other side, is just overlap it a little bit, and then I can adjust the roof. The roof is going to be a real pain. Well, let me see here. No, actually, it's not. These get caps right here. I thought, well, boy, if this is a roof piece that I have these little notches, but it isn't. It's the roof sits right on top right here, and this caps it with a slight sloped area, roof area right here. So that'll be perfect. This is getting here now. Just trying to get a little pressure. It just doesn't take much. It should dry here pretty fast. So this is going to get, I'm not sure on the window inserts that come with this, which are a bunch of particular, oh, it does. So the window inserts actually have the divided windows. So that'll be great. Looks like it's got, every window has got a divided window, and the top's even got a really nice divided windows. So that'll be really pretty looking. And we'll paint those a separate color. All the window trim will be a different color. So I'm not going to install those until after I have this painted and the window trims are all be painted. Then we'll just push them through and you'll have a nice a color, accenting color where the windows are. And then later we'll add the glazing. This is starting to set up pretty good here now. Not sure exactly. It's still a little bit funky. So, you know, thing to do on something like that is, I think what we're going to do is let this set. We're going to go up here, work on landscape for a while. We're going to kind of come back and forth on stuff as I'm doing it, because I don't want to rush this. I want to make sure it does everything it needs to. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do what I told you guys about. So what you got to do is you just have to make sure you don't squeeze the bottle while you're doing this, obviously. You want to make sure all of that's done. And what I do is I get the next thing I do is I get the paper towel down into the grooves, the threads of the cap, just to make sure. I'm running my thumb in it, and it's working its way up and out. So you just need to take a little bit of precaution on this. Otherwise, you're going to have issues like I did with that other bottle. It was a total disaster. So you just got to make sure you get all the glue off of anything that could possibly stick to the cap. I do too. We got a comment that says somebody said that they like this station better than the first one. I agree. I'll show you the first one. This one is just not as what's the word I'm looking for? Mammoth in size, monstrous. I mean, the other station was huge. All right, I'm going to get down in here, get this area right here, and right up around the tip. Okay. Now, and like I've said before, inside this cap, there's a needle that's set in that comes down, that goes down in and keeps the into the tube open. So that's it. So we'll just set that aside for right now. We'll let this dry. Let me see how it's doing. Oh, yeah, yeah. About 10 minutes, 15 minutes, that'll be solid as rock. So we'll come back to this a little later today and we'll get this done. I may then go ahead, this way this will be dried and I can grind these two sides right here. And I'll try doing the test fit and then we'll do that. Okay. So we have the foundation about 3/4 finished, almost 3/4 finished. So let's go to part 2, which is going to be working on the landscape material. So I'm going to get this out of the way right here. Let's get rid of this off of here, and we'll get this done. All right. So, like I said, I put my glue together that I use for my landscape material, and we are going to start working on that. I'll show you everything that we've got going. Let me see here. We're going to put this over here. Okay, so here is, oh, somebody said the other station. Let me show you what the other station looked like. This was the monster that we had for the station we were thinking of originally. It just isn't. You look at it in comparison to the other, I just like the one that I'm building now, just much better. It's just a more classic design. This is the one that's in England. I can't think of the name of it. It's huge. It's the one that has the huge rail shed out the back side there. Huh?
What?
Oh, I thought you said something. Okay. So we've got our sand. So we're ready to go with that. And I'm just going to turn this. We're going to go right into this corner right here. I'm going to get kicked up. This is what we're going to be working on. Putting my little tripod stand between my tracks. I'm going to get this a little closer, but let me get everything out of the way here. I've got to mix the glue. I've got it in the glass. So we're gonna mix that up. I'll show you that here in just a second. I'm just gonna find it. Oh, here it is.
One station is same paper.
Oh, yes, that's right. You're right on the station. Yes. Okay, so here's my mix. I just thought I'd show it to you before I mixed it. You can see the glue in the bottom. The yellow tint is Ajax detergent, and then the rest is water. I will be adjusting it a little bit. I always do just kind of a quick mix together, and then I see how it goes. And then I'll either add more water, more glue, whatever I need to add, I'll add to it. So let's get this mixed now.
Andrew says hi, I'm back.
Oh, glad you're back, Andrew. All right. So we are going to get this all mixed up. But I wanted you to see what I do as far as my proportions go on each of the things that I use. I can pretty much tell right now I'm going to have to add a little more glue to it, because I can see through too easily at this point. I'll just get this stirred so I don't have any little glops and everything. Let me grab my glue. Hey, you want to see how old my glue is? I'll show you how old my glue is. Anybody recognize that name right there, Ross? How long has it been since Ross has been around? That may still be, but this gives you an idea of how old this glue is. Okay, I'm just going to I took the cap off. It was pretty well plugged, so we're just going to, I've almost got this emptied, so my wife's picking up some extra for me today because I've got all that ballasting to be done. Yay, I got 20 hours of ballasting ahead of me. Oh boy. We'll see if that'll do it. Probably will. And I've got the detergent up here too, so if it's not getting into penetrating the landscaping material enough, then I can add. Oh, that's better. That's already got a better color to it. And I'll be doing 2 coats of it. I always do 2 coats of it over everything, so, it'll adhere no matter what. Okay, so I'm gonna get the rest of this stuff out of the way. I don't want to take a chance of knocking any of the waters over and staining everything or ruining the track or anything like that. Okay, we're ready. So get the brush cleaned off. We're gonna set this over here. I'm gonna see if I can back this up a little bit so you guys can, well, no, actually you need to be in a little closer so you can really see what we're doing here. So there we go. There we go. Okay. In fact, I'm gonna bring this on around the corner a little bit because I'm starting back here. Oops. I almost shut my camera off. That'd have been terrible. Okay. We'll start right there. I had my road bed and everything all the way out to about right here because I didn't know where I was going to go with this as far as the curve goes. So the reason this is like this is that's where the road bed went prior to. So let me get this. I'm going to put this. Let's see if that's in camera. Get the sand out of the way. Let me get my, this is the other thing I'll be using today for the most part, earth, fine turf. So we'll put this back over here. I'll get my glass. There's my dropper. I use a dropper to put the material, the glue down. And this is what I use to clean the dropper out with. So I need to add a little extra water to that so it's up high enough to get enough water completely into the dropper. Okay, so what I do is before I get started, I always clean out. So I just leave this in the water so I don't get anything drying in it. So I just get that all completely cleaned out. All right. Put that right here. Shall get this. All right, so we are pretty well ready to go. There, I got the bubble out of it. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start putting glue down right here. Once I've done that, I'll come and I'll put earth on. I'll put the actual earth towards the middle of the area that I'm working, and I'm going to work the sand out to the edges. All right, so let's just get started. And here's why we're going to be testing is because I'm always working over the tracks. So we're going to be, once we start really working this area, we will be testing the track on a fairly regular basis. We'll run the engines around. Yeah, you can see quite a bit of white in there. That's pretty good. All right, so let's squirt the rest of the glue back in, clean that out. All right, we're going to get the earth. So what I do is I take the cap off and put that back out of the way so I don't knock it over. It's just easier to grab, so I put it in the cap. So we're just going to put this right here, and we're just going to grab little pinches of it. And we're just going to start feeding it in. I don't have really good light here, unfortunately, but let me see. Yeah, you guys are able to see it pretty good. Right in the middle area, we're just putting, and what this earth is doing is it's building us up some texture to the surface, because the sand's going to go down over the top of everything. But this is giving us texture here. I don't know how far I came out with this stuff, but that's pretty close. You can see why I'm going to be testing, because I'm right up next to the track here. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to do this center line right here. Same thing. Oh, you know what I need to do? I need to get these cracks filled. People said, do I use a sealant or an adhesive to seal those cracks with? No. What I do, because it's almost like paper mache once you've done it. I take a piece of paper towel, and I don't know if you can see this on camera, but I'll show it here in a little bit. I've got a big gap right here. So I'm just going to poke this paper towel down into the gap. I need a screwdriver. Where's my little screwdriver at? Here it is. Here, I'm just going to tip this. I'm just going to change this so you can see what I'm working on for right now. you can see what I've got here. So I'm just going to take this and I'm going to jam this down in here.
Andrew says there's a lot of snow outside.
Yes, there is a lot of snow outside. We got quite a, well, not quite a bit, but enough to make it a nuisance snow. And come back up underneath, push this back up. I'll be using the landscaping material to fill it in. So what's going to happen is it's going to make it like paper mache. When you've put the glue all over this, it's going to make this adhere there and it's going to seal it up. So I've just got a couple little areas I've got to do. So no fuss, no muss. And I'll have this whole area right here ready to go. So we're just going to push this in.
Andrew says, I love your life.
Oh, well, thank you, Andrew. I don't know if you're seeing this one or not. Yeah, you probably are. I'll get my hand out of the way here in just a sec. There. Okay. All right. So we got this one right here, and we got this one in. There's a little bit right here. I may just, so I don't have liquid dripping down onto my work table below. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit right here. And like I said, once the glue gets in and landscape material over the top, this will be solid as a rock. Hard part is just getting it down into stuff.
Says I always look forward to that.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm glad you do. We got a good thing for live feed today, and then we're gonna have a really good one on Saturday. We'll talk about what's going to go on Saturday here in a little bit. All right, so then one more little spot right here. This one I don't know if I'll be able to, or if it's just tight enough. I may just tear off the rest, just get a little bit tucked down in there. And then tear.
It says cool.
Yeah, there's not much to this. And like I said, it acts like paper mache then. Get rid of some of that. Okay. Almost got it. You want to get this as flush as you can because when the landscape material goes over it, you don't want a little bump here. There we go. All right, so I got the, well, one more little gap.
Boss man asked what gauge train.
Somebody asked what gauge train this is. This is in scale.
You may want to aim the camera a little bit more to the right.
A little bit more to the right. There we go. I'm going to back it up a little bit too.
There we go.
Because I'm going to get this crack taken care of right here real quick. So as you can see, it's filling in nicely. And like I said, once the glue gets to this paper towel, it's no big deal. Let's see here. It should be going down. Oh, you're welcome. No problem. If you have any questions, just ask. That's what we're here for. Then just have fun with trains. Answer questions and have fun with trains.
Mr. C. Railway says layout is looking great.
Oh, well, thank you. We'll do a quick tour here in a little bit for all those of you that have just joined us. As soon as I get this done and I get a little bit over here finished up, and I'm waiting for things to dry between coats, we'll do a quick little tour. And of course, I will be running the trains to make sure I'm not getting any problems with the tracks, with the road, with all the material, the landscaping material that I'm working with. So we'll be doing lots of testing and running the trains around as we're going today. Right now, we're just waiting for some of the station to dry down below, so that I can move it around a little easier, doing the final bits of assembly for the foundation part. So we're just going to go bopping back and forth between stuff today. And again, I'm sorry if the volume seems a little loud. My voice is louder. We got rid of so much stuff out of this train room, this layout room, the past few days, that we lost a lot of our soundproofing that was up on the shelves and stuff. All the boxes were, so now we've got a bit of an echo and it's loud. So I apologize for that. As we start to build all these huge skyscrapers and we get them in here, the sound deadening will come back. So just bear with us while we're in the midst of changing from box inventory to structures, but it'll get better as we go along. Okay, I think that's probably maybe, yeah, it's pretty good. I don't know how far I'm going to come out with the material today, but I'll just make sure I have most of the cracks that I need done. There we go. I'm just going to rip this off right here because I'm not going to come out farther than that today.
Goose says, yo, what's up?
Hey, Goose Dad, glad you're back. Okay. That's all pretty well seen. This is really tight right here. I can't actually, but I can't see down through. I don't see any light coming through. So I'm not going to worry about that. And the same kind of happens here. I'm not seeing anything coming through there. All right, so we're going to reset the camera back here in the corner where we're working. And we're going to reposition. So you can see this whole area right here. We're going to come down just a little bit. I'm going to re-angle my light. Ah, there we go. That's better. Okay, so we're going to keep coming down from here, over here with the glue and the earth. And that way I can start working with the sand here pretty soon. So we got our glue. I'm just going to get another dropper full.
Sounds good. Thanks for your
Oh, yeah, no problem. I knew it was going to be louder today because of all that we took out. Okay, so we got our little dropper here. We're just going to, right here in the middle is where I'm working with the earth material. Kind of up in these areas right here. That'll work. Okay. Squeeze that back in. I can hear the snow melting off our roof in our drain pipe outside. There's a little thump, thump, thump of the drops in our drain. All right, so we're getting this in the middle where it needs to be. We're just going to keep running this right on down here. And this is giving me, like I said, this is giving me a variety of heights for the middle is what I'm doing with this. So we're just building things up a little bit. So I will, yeah, you still can see right there. That's good. So we'll just keep with this. Do another big glue right in this area. Okay. Get my little thing I've still got going right here of this stuff. Doing like you pinch salt. You don't want to clump it together too much. You just want a nice kind of even surface. Oh, we'll have to check it out, Andrew. Very good. All right, so we're getting there. All right, so that's still sort of in view. I'm going to back this down, and we're going to finish right here to the line. And then I'm going to come back and do between the tracks to come to the same point. All right. This is why we'll be testing the engines, because going right across the tracks, I always have a tendency of dropping a little bit out between my fingertips. So we're going to want to make sure, especially when we start doing this between the tracks, which is going to be right now. Okay, so we're going to come back to where we were. I'm trying to get this where you can see where we're headed. Yes, right there. Okay. So now we're going to come and do this stretch right here. Now this between tracks, you got to be a little more controlled with it. Not so much the glue as you do the landscape material. Oh, well, thank you, Andrew. We do too. We enjoy sharing all of this. All right, so we're good. This is in scale. All right. So we are right here. So we're going to just be very, very careful about how we get the material between the tracks. Well, this is got to be a little more. I'm going to have to get more light. That's all there is to it. I don't have one up here. Trying to get this like right in the middle of the track because the ballast is going to be coming down on either side. So we don't really need, I don't want to really build that part up. I'm definitely, okay, I'm definitely going to have to get my rest of my lights put up this week before this weekend's live feed. I can tell that right now. So I don't have enough light over here. I'm going to be putting 5 more lights up on the ceiling, spotlights like we've got right now. That will allow me to get focus light down on areas. This is already a lot better than it was, but I needed a lot better than this. Okay. So now we'll just do this little area right here. Oh, well, thank you for the fire emoji. Glad you like it. Okay. Thank you, Andrew. Okay. Now, I'll just get this in here. Yeah, we're coming around to where the camera is, so you can be able to see it. Just putting it right in the middle. Now, I will take the sand and I will put it right up to the road bed on each side when I get to that stage. All right, so there we got our little strip right down the middle, which is going to get covered a lot by the sand. This is still just giving us our edge, our raised areas. Okay. That's okay. Well, thank you for the sentiment, Andrew. Okay, so let's get back to this area right here. That I think that's pretty good. All right, so now this has had time to dry. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put glue around the edges, and it will soak in to the stuff that we already have on here. And then I'll be using the sand. Let me see how I'm doing here sand-wise, if I've got really good fine material on top here. Hello, DLM. Good to see you again. All right, I'm going to get my little cup that I have. Where's my little cup of sand in it? I don't know. So I'm just going to get, this one's pretty good, so I don't think there's anything in here. All I'm doing is I'm just putting some, so this is a little easy to hold on to, I'm just putting some sand into this cup. That's better. It won't be as heavy to have to work around the layout with. Okay, so let's get the glue down in these spots, and then we'll start working the sand in. All I'm doing is cleaning out the, when you hear that noise, that's me just cleaning out the glue from the last time. So I try to do fresh each time I do it. All right, so now we're going to come back here and we're going to start coming along the edges right by the roadbed. And we'll start doing these edges here. And like I said, you put enough down, it'll flow back into where you just worked in the middle with the earth. All right, and I don't want to go too far because I want this to stay pretty wet while I'm working on it. Right up next to that. Back in. Oh, well, thank you. We try to answer everybody's questions. Having my son here helps a lot because it keeps me from having to watch the screen. I can just concentrate on what I'm doing. I'm able to pretty well talk and work at the same time, but I don't think I'd be able to talk, read, and work at the same time. All right, so now I'm going to just kind of move this around a little bit in this cup, try to get some fine sand on top here, which I am getting. So now we're just going to come in and we're just going to, as I you can see that as I go back to get it, we're just going to start working this in. Yep, I'm getting it on my track, so I'm going to have to definitely test here in just a little bit. I'll blow everything off here in just a minute. It's hard working up next to your, you've already got scenery up here, you know, something in the background. I'm having to try to get as close as I can. So I'm having to drop it from further up, which is why we test with the engines, because it starts to bounce then. Hold up back. I don't know what that means. All right, so we're getting along where I have the glue out on the edges. I'll show you how I get the stuff back there. As you can see, spots in the back. I'm going to get right in here. Oh, well, thank you for the jewels, Frosty.
Oh, Andrew just had to step out.
Oh, okay. All right, so now when you're working next to something like this and you dropping it in doesn't get it in there, simple trick to do is, I'm going to try to show this on camera as best I can.
James Group says, love it, sir, super jealous.
Oh, well, thank you.
Dwayne sent New Year's Eve 2026.
Oh, well, thank you for the jewels, Dwayne. All right, so what you got to do when you get back into an area like this is you got to do a little bounce method. So I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to put it right here and I'm just going to bounce it off my fingertip. And it will get it right back. See how it's getting right up there to the edge of the rock? That's all you got to do. Just bounce it right off the end of your finger. I'm going to come along this whole way right here and I'm going to do that. Like that. All the way back to where we had the original at, right there. Same thing right along here.
Lotus says this is the best live stream I've ever seen.
Well, thank you, Lotus. Glad you like it.
Frosty donated says it's a love for the craftsman. I gotta respect it.
Oh, well, thank you, Frosty. All right. Now you can see how we're starting to get these different colors. And this is what's great about this sand that I'm using. It has varying sizes of rock. I'll get that picked out of there in a minute. It has varying sizes of rock, but none of it's very big. So it's actually just kind of perfect for just about any scale, other than probably O, and then it would just be S or O, and then it would just be probably too fine.
Troller says it's like watching Bob Ross.
Like watching Bob Ross. Well, thank you. I always like Bob Ross. I don't take that as an insult. He was a fun guy to watch. Okay, so now then, we're going to go ahead and finish this up. I'm going to back it up. You'll see how I'm going to do this. And then we got to come back with the other material. We have a more coarse grade stuff that we put in. I've got a gray rock that we put in around the foundation here of the, so it looks like stuff is crumbling. And then we'll come and we'll put in the coarse turf for bushes and stuff. So we're just going to keep coming around this way right here. So let me back this up a little bit. Let's see here.
Always says happy little cloud.
Yes, and trees. I don't have, I'll have clouds and trees eventually. All right, I think that's a pretty good angle. You'll be able to watch me what I'm doing here. All right, I'm going to move this earth because I know I'm going to knock that off, and that's going to be a disaster. Okay, so let's just keep doing what we were doing. So another eyedropper full of glue, and we're just going to be coming right out here. Now, with the way that light is that I've re-angled, that I can really start to see what I'm doing here now. So that's good. Always helps being able to see what you're working on. I am going to get a much better lights in here for you guys, so when we're working on stuff more in detail, you're going to be seeing I'm going to have some lights over my shoulder up in the ceiling, so you'll be able to really, I'm getting ready to install 5 more lights up here. They're just those little can lights like you've seen around the layout. I've just got to put the brace up there, and then we will be able to get some fantastic light on everything. All right, I'm going to bring the glue down in a little bit because I want to keep this middle area wet while we're working on this, because this sand absorbs a lot, obviously. Yeah, scenery makes the layout, in my opinion. That's why I started with it first before I even got really to the tracks. Okay, so let's I'm going to try to shake some of this top stuff out to get to the good fine stuff. Okay. Again, we'll start with just before I do the bounce things, because while this is still nice and wet, I want to just make sure that I can get as much on here as I want before it starts to dry. That little back area will definitely do the bounce area right there. Again, it's just like doing little pinches of salt. So start moving stuff in the middle here. Getting areas filled in. Trying to get to the really fine sand again. Hope you guys are seeing this well enough that I've got the camera in a good spot. In light, there's nothing I can do about, but at least so you can see where it's all going.
What it says that's a smart idea. I should have thought of that when I was 7 years in now.
Oh. Well, that's why I'm showing all of this stuff. Give you guys options. You know, if something's not working for you, you know, you can try what we're doing, or if you're happy with what you're doing, this just shows you other ways people to do stuff. So now you can see how that the paint I put underneath, you can see some areas of that orange coming through, and I'm going to leave some of that. I'm not going to cover absolutely everything because I do like having that clay look come through. So, all right, now I'm going to do that bounce area.
What it says on OO scale, I focused on pushing the track.
Oh, okay. OO is, I believe, the European version of HO. Again, we're just doing the bounce to get it back in those areas. You see that's filling in nicely. Because there's no glue up on the sidewall here, so it can just drop onto that and bounce down. And it won't stick to that area up there. So even if you hit the side of it, if you've kept your glue pretty well contained while you were working, it shouldn't be an issue. You can see how this is really starting to come together now. The different landscaping materials all kind of just working here together.
What it says is 176.
Okay. And we'll just come right down here. Just do a little bit of dusting here and there. And when I come back and do my second coats later, all these big pieces will lock down that are dropping on here. Okay. So this is looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy with most of this. We're just kind of dribbling little bits here and there. And I'll do a backup shot of everything. I don't know if the camera's still zoomed in from when we were working on the station, but you'll be able to see everything pretty good. All right, I got a little bit of glue right here. I need to bounce right there. Okay, so I'm going to put the last little bit of glue right here, and then I'll start using the other material I have. We'll shift over to the more coarse stuff. And then once we've got that done right here, we'll do a quick test on the outer loop right here to make sure we're doing good with the engine. Make sure there's no problems, no areas that are going to cause shorts or anything. All right, we'll just kind of do that. Got to pour a little more of this. Well, you know what? There's a lot of good fine stuff right here on top in the big.
Sadly, I have to go now, but I'll be back when I'm
Oh, well, glad you were with us, Lotus. Thanks for joining and chatting with us. All right. So that, I'm pretty happy with all that. I need to do that bounce thing right next to the rock here. Okay. So next step is going to be putting dry material down that I'll then come in later, and after this bottom layer has dried, I will come in later and put glue over the top of. Let me get this off of here. There we go. Make sure I've got this, and we're definitely going to be testing this. So I don't know if I've dripped any glue on that rail or not. Okay, so next step, we're going to be using medium ballast Woodland Scenics and medium ballast Buff. So what we're going to do here is we're going to start with the rock wall. Same thing I did before. I'm going to just be putting some in my cap like this. Now I'm going to reposition this again, and we'll see if we can get a good spot here. Trying to be between my new tracks so I don't mess those things up, and trying not to turn the camera off. Which I keep trying to do, which when I grab up the top, it keeps trying to do on me. Okay, so we've got a little cap full of the coarser ballast, the medium ballast. Same thing I was doing before. I'm going to be using the tip of my finger, and we are going to just start dribbling the rock down right next to the wall. And what this is doing is it's simulating erosion of the rock wall. Real close to it next to it. So like all the little pieces have fallen off. All right, we'll back this out. So you can just stay with me as I'm coming around the corner.
Christian Fishing says hello.
Hello, Christian.
Danny says, imagine if we were actually able to see what you're doing rather than the back of your hand.
Well, there's nothing I can do about that right now because I don't have a place to. And I've already showed how I'm doing the. I'll see if I can get a little better, but I don't know. Maybe if I put it over here, you might be able to see better. But then I'm working with the edge of the layout. That's the problem. I kind of don't think it's going to make much of a difference. All we're doing is just getting the rock up next to the wall.
That's even worse.
Is it? Okay. I'm not sure where to put this because I'm working over my tracks. I'm working over everything. Well, there you can see. All I did was use the tip of my finger and I bounced the rock off the tip of my finger right along the edge right here so it would get into the under areas right here. And the same thing all the way around. That's what we did. Next step, I'm going to leave this still. I'm going to leave it in the cap for a little while. So I'm going to put that bottle away so I don't knock it over and have ballast everywhere. So next thing is just, we're going to be using the buff. So we're going to move this back. Let's see here. And this you'll probably be able to see pretty easy because I don't have to bounce anything. And I can use my left hand for it like I was doing before. So now we're just using this, a little thing of buff. We're just going to come in here and we're just going to start adding in a little bit heavier rock. A little thicker rock. Not much of this, just a little bit here and there. And then we're going to do the same thing with the dirt. We're going to re-add dirt on here. There we go. All right, so that's starting to get all of that really well. And that's all I'm going to do with the buff. So I'm going to put the rest of it back inside the bottle out of the cap. So that's all I've done there. So now I want to add some of the, even though it says earth, it's got a lot of green to it. So I don't want green grass. So now we're just going to come in here and we're just going to dribble some of this earth stuff back up in areas like that. And like I said, when I get the lights over my shoulder, when we're working on the other side, we'll be able to, or coming down this middle here, you'll really be able to see it well. But all we're doing is just doing little pinch salt stuff like that. I'm going to come back in here and I got a little too much of the gray coarse rock back in this one area right here. So I want to make sure I just kind of cover a little bit of that up. There we go. Let's take a look here. It's looking pretty good. I think I'm going to put just a little bit right back in here, kind of tone that corner down. Okay. So we'll put the earth back up here, put the earth back up here. All right, so now we're going to get the coarse turf. What's up? Well, I don't know if you're going to want to zoom out too much, but...
No, I'm not going to zoom out too much, but see if I'm focused. Okay. There we go.
Oh, so it's got more of the scene in place. Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
So now I'm just going to do the same thing that I've been doing. We're just going to sprinkle, and I'll break the stuff up with toothpicks. So I'm just going to add this in a variety of spots, and I'll break it up, and then we'll glue it down. And this will give me a nice, little bit of a chunkier stuff. And then when the glue comes on, it'll get rid of all these little things sticking up everywhere and just give you like a little nice mound of the turf. And what I'll do later, we won't do it today because it's going to have to be dry, completely dry, is when this is dried, I'll come in here and I will take a light yellow-green and I'll brush the tips of the bushes to give like a light highlight of light bouncing off of leaves. That'll be the last step we do. Okay, so I've got that done. So now I'm going to get the toothpick. And we are just going to break these apart so they're just not such big clumps. Like that. And the glue will condense everything down too. But I don't want the big clumps to start off with. So we're just breaking things apart just a little bit. I mean, if this was HO, I would probably leave them this size. But being in, you don't want them this big. Well, that's pretty good. I want to kind of clear things out just a little bit here. Okay. There we go. Get off. Okay. So now we get the glue again. I think I'm pretty good with, well, you know, I'm at it, and I think you guys will be able to see it. We'll put a little clump right here. Plant weeds while you're always digging them up. Yep. It's definitely weedy out here. I'm going to get some. I don't know who the make is, but somebody makes. I don't want to get I don't have enough that I need to get one for at this point. But I can't remember who makes them. But they make strips of static grass already made. So I am going to get some static grass clumps. And I'll put them along the walls, right along here and right along the tracks. Not so much around the tracks because my track gang's pretty good and they keep my tracks clear of weeds and stuff.
The cheapest light says hello, and artificial says this is one of the show's hobbies.
Oh, it is a good hobby. It is. And hello. Glad you've all joined us. Okay, so now. This is where I'm going to be able to really tell if I had my good mix or not. Because now I'm going to be putting it right on top of big stuff. All right, so we're just going to get this. And I try to make it with enough detergent to where it doesn't bead on the surface. And it looks like it's doing fine. And this just locks all of this down onto the scenery material below.
Tri-State Trucker says, good afternoon. Just wondering how big your layout is.
Hello, Tri-State. Layout, the area that I'm working on right now, it's got 2 levels and it's 7 foot by 9 foot. So 63 square feet times 2. We're not doing anything on the lower level till we get the Monstrous City finished. I will be working on the helix and getting stuff down, but to it, but we won't actually be working on the scenery for that until we get this pretty well wrapped up here. And I'm going to give you guys a quick tour of the whole thing while we're testing with the engines, make sure I don't have anything on my tracks.
John Mueller says, recent watcher, wish I'd seen clips created. Will you be doing more clips?
Somebody asked if we're going to be doing, that he's recently joined us, wonder if we're going to be doing more cliffs. Yes. The lower level is going to have an entire mountain with lots of cliffs. We'll be getting to that. There are a few other areas up here that we'll be getting some too. Not as much as down below, but yes, we will be doing many more. So, and we do have tutorials up there showing how I actually created these, but if you want to see it live, which is always kind of better to do because you can, it's just easier to interact if you ever have questions while I'm working on the stuff and want to know what it is that I'm doing. It's just easier to do. So we definitely do a live on doing more of the cliffs.
Earthquake says hello.
Hey, Earthquake. All right. Now, like I said, I will be coming in either later today or tomorrow, and I'll be putting a second coat of glue on everything here. I always do that just to make sure I have everything down, because when I've been working on my other edges up here, this stuff is just solid as rock because of that. I've been able to work on things and put a lot of weight and stuff just pushing on my areas around, and nothing has moved on me. So I'm pretty happy about that. Okay. So I think that looks, let me see how it looks. That looks pretty good.
Have you ever seen or beta seen working waterfall?
Working waterfall. No, I've never done one of those. We are going to have a waterfall in the mountain, but it won't be working. It'll just be using some techniques that we've learned over the years to make water really cool. All right, so let's get the sand out of the way.
Infinite asks, are you running an ECC? Any recommendations on power
Somebody asked if we're running DCC. Not yet, but I am going to be running DCC. Right now, we're just testing with DC because all my engines don't have the boards in them yet, but they will. And when they do, I'm planning on going probably with Digitrax. I've used them before on other layouts, and I'm just a fan of them. So that's probably what I'm going to be using here. You know, I forgot to get this area right here with the sand, so I'm going to go ahead and get this area right here with the sand.
Earthquake says Happy New Year, everyone.
Oh, Happy New Year, Earthquake. Okay. So again, now I'm just going to fill right along the edges. Make sure I got plenty of glue through the whole area right here. I'm going to try to leave that dirt in the middle, but if it doesn't, I'll come back in and I'll touch it up. That was mostly just to give me some varying heights of stuff.
Brian says, I think that would be a pretty cool feature, having a working waterfall somehow.
Yeah, it would be. I actually think we saw one at a layout at a trade show. Actually, had one, a working river area that had towards recirculating. Okay, let's get this little area done right here. And again, sorry about the shadows. We will be correcting that before Saturday. I'll have my rest of my lights up. That will allow us to be able to zoom right in and see everything. But you can see how it just fills in nicely. And because I didn't take the glue up the side of the stuff there, that will brush off that's on the roadbed. So I'm not going to have any buildup right there. There we go. Almost brought this around. I probably should get this other one between the two, and that way we can just test all three tracks right through here before we start working our way on the other side.
Birthday lady asked, does the leak in your attic
Does
count?
how a leak in an attic count? Well, we don't have a leak in the attic. We had frozen pipes. We don't have a leak. But we solved the frozen pipe problem. Okay. So let's get this area right here done. I'll turn the camera just a little bit so you can see where I'm at. There. Okay. So now we'll just come between that track. Now I won't be doing on between the tracks. I don't add that coarse turf. Like I said, my track gang is pretty good. They come along with those big weed spraying vehicles, and they come along and they spray all the weeds along here. So I won't be doing any of the big bush type stuff in the middle here. And there's enough sand stuff. There's enough bigger parts, bigger pieces of the sand that I don't really need to put the coarser ballast in for rock. I'm going to get some glue down into that gap right there because we're going to build that up. Okay. So, sand. Hope this is kind of going a little better using my left hand. I'm not as good with my left as I am the right here as far as the precision and control goes, but to make it to where you can see it better with the camera. But it's good enough. I mean, I'm not worried about it either way. The only issue we're really having is just the lighting. And there's nothing I can do about that till this weekend. I'll do a quick wipe off of the tracks before we start testing. Just make sure I don't feel any liquid or anything. And then we'll, I can already see I have turf over here. There we go. And I will fill in this good gap right here. We'll get this gap taken care of. There we go. All right, I think that's pretty good. I'm going to come back in while I've got it, and I'm going to put the little bit of the earth down in the middle, like I've been doing. Let's see here. Again, just a little pinch of it, right? I'm going to try to do it just right in the middle here. And not the whole way, just spots. There we go. Now you can start to see that line back in the middle. Do the same thing right here. Almost. And I'll blow the tracks off again real quick, and then we'll do a test. Nice. There we go. All right. So, again, once I've got the second coat of glue down, this stuff will be solid, no problems. So let's do a quick tour real quick here and answer any questions that we have about that, about the layout itself. While we're doing that, before we start doing the testing, I'm going to just go ahead and run my finger across here, making sure I don't really feel anything. Nope, doesn't feel like it. All right, so you have this already backed out, zoomed out?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me get these paper towels out of the way. Okay, so I'm going to get this up like this. All right, so here's where we've been working today. Now you can see a little better with the light, the way it is, all the variances that I'm trying to get in the ground. When this dries up, it'll look a lot like this right here. It just right now it's a lot darker because everything's wet. But once that dries, it'll be just like all of this right here. So here's how the ballast looks when the ballast goes in. As you can see, I've been able to maintain that center area, and it'll be the same on that curve. So, well, thank you very much, Cog. That was very, very nice. Thank you. And right here, this is the track I had to fix 2 weeks ago. I haven't gotten back in here to ballast yet, but I will. But here shows like the two really good together. So here's where I've got my engines for testing. All right, so let's review here. Hi. So, like I said, with the new lighting, you can now see the front of the building really well. This is the 30-inch tall building that we have. This entire thing right here, this whole city, it's going to be nothing but city all the way around right here. We're going to have now upwards between 20 and 25 skyscrapers with a lot of smaller buildings. It's going to go all the way. We're 3D printing everything. So there'll be tall. Oh, well, thank you. As you can see, I moved some stuff forward. Now, let me back up. I'm going to get outside the layout here so you can get an overall idea of the dimensions. Okay, so this is 7 foot, 9 foot, 7 foot, 9 foot. So that's our 63 square feet right there. As you can see, we've got the lights up here. They were all on shelves that were on the wall, which are now all gone. You can see where I've put the joint compound in to hide the holes. These shelf brackets will be off here. These two shelves will be gone fairly soon once I get the rest of the HO stuff back down to my mom's. This shelf right here will be gone. These lights are going to move up to here. Now what's going to give me the good light is I'm going to put a strip right across the ceiling right here. It's this right here. This one right here with a 1x4 on the other side that I can clip lights to. We're going to put a half a dozen lights up here, which will then give me light. In addition, just since we've put these lights here, this whole rock wall has now really stood out. It looks really good. You can really see it with the light. It'll be great for filming when we're doing runs. So by putting these lights further out here in the opening, aiming that way into the side, you're going to see a lot more of the side of the trains then too. All right, so what we're going to do is we are going to test the tracks, make sure I haven't messed anything up over here. Here you can see from this side what we're doing, how that's coming along. I think that's looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. So we are going to do a little bit of testing, and then once we've done that, I think this will be dried enough to where I could probably grind the end of that, and I can get that over here on this side. And then once we've done that, we're going to come over here and we're going to continue working in this area right here. I need to paint this piece of foam right here that was the patch piece. And then we'll do some landscaping over here. and we'll just keep going from there. So let me get back inside here so I can get to the controller, and we'll test it all out. Okay, so we'll start with the outside track, and I think that's where I was to begin with anyway. So that's on. So let's see what we got here. Is that where I'm at? Yes. Okay. This is the one that would have gotten the most stuff on it in that back corner. So we'll just run it around. We'll see how it does. Like I said, this is going to look really great when it comes out from underneath that station with those big buildings. That's going to be a really good vantage point when we're doing filming. Again, we'll just see how this goes. Across over here with the new scenery. I'm just going to get set up so I can watch for any problems. No, it's fine. I got everything cleaned off really well, so that's doing really good. This is going to be another good vantage point right here with all the tall buildings behind it when they come under the bridge. There'll be another bridge right here and another bridge right here. So, all right, so let me stop that one. Good, Evan, how are you doing? Let's back this up and we'll plug into the next. We'll plug into the middle track. I'll just set this right here. I'll get set up with the middle track. It'll definitely be better when I've got everything where I just plug stuff in. Well, it'll be better when I've got the DCC in and stuff. But right now we're just working with DC. Okay. So let's try the middle track. Make sure we haven't got anything in that corner with the middle track. Well, thank you. Whoops, wrong direction. Okay, get a little speed going to it. This is all going to be covered for the passenger station to sit on top of the rails. So we're going to test this area over here where I've been working on the scenery, making sure I don't have any liquid on the tracks, and the glues, or any material. Watch right in here. No, I did fine. Perfect. So what I was worried about was anything like between the rails right here. So now we'll do the last track. We'll stop him right here. Okay, I'm going to leave you right here for a second while I get the other track set up. And we'll go back to that station. And then we will do more landscaping. And I want to work today also on, I'm going to be reusing my platform that I was using for the old station. Is that a what? I don't know what that is. So the what? These are all Kato, Montana. Oh, that, no, I don't know. I don't know who the brand is. Most of the stuff we have is Craftsman. Okay, let's do this last guy. No, I don't. I just probably eBay be your best bet for something like that on the wheel sets. This was an area I just finished a couple days ago. The curve was so bad that it was derailing my 6 axles, but I'm looking down low right now. It looks fine. Right here was really bad right here. Nope, it did all right. Okay, and it did fine over here. We didn't have any issues with the landscaping material. So we were good. Bring it back in, and there we go. All right, here it is. So I'm going to check the station now. We're going to see how the station is doing. I'm going to cover my engines up. And we're going to see right here, I'm going to put this back up here. Yes, this is FlexTrack. This is Atlas Code 80 FlexTrack. All right, so let's see how this is doing. If this dried up or if I'm going to have issues. I don't know, that's solid as a rock. Okay. Well, thank you. Who was that, Derek?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Derek. Okay, so we were having an issue with this corner, and there's something wrong here. Um, I don't know what it is. It's got a heck of a bow to it. So I'm not sure, because I don't see a bow here, so I'm gonna just try to do some grinding to where I can make this a little more flush. So it's gonna get noisy for just a minute, and then I'll do some test fitting, because I wanna get this other sidewall glued on here so that I can attach the back walls, so then a little later I can show you guys where this is gonna go up on the layout. So let me, let's do this. Let's see how that did. Well, Happy New Year. Who was that? Derek. Happy New Year, Derek. All right, let's see if this is starting to help. All right, it seems to be up here at the top. Seems to be where the problem is. So we will work that area a little bit more. And then we'll take this and we will do this as well. Use the standard little pen file. All right, let's see if that did it. Oh, well, that's definitely getting better. Now we've got a bit of an issue down here at the bottom. It looks like it's going to be the same thing, that area right there. Better do this on both sides just to play it safe. I'll check it against the other wall. Let's see here. Yeah. This is some of the things that you just have to deal with when you're dealing with PLA and 3D prints. You just kind of have to work around little issues every now and then. Oh, that's really getting good. Maybe just a little more at the bottom there. If I can just take that off with the file. I'd really like to get the outside of this this lower level of the station finished today, so I can start working on the roof area. So let's see how that is. Oh, well, that's almost got it. Where am I hanging up at? If I do it right there, a little bit of an overlap like the other side, I think that'll be all right. So I am going to go ahead and check the other wall, make sure the other side, the back wall is going to be fine against this, the other side of this. Because I don't want to have to, once I glue this on here, I'm not getting it off again, obviously. Well, I mean, I am, but I could, but I'm not going to break it off. So let's see here. Oh, that's pretty good. There's no light, hardly any light coming through at all on that. Let's turn that just like that. There we go. That's almost got it.
Chris asked which glue do you use for your building?
Somebody asked, Chris asked, what glue do we use for our buildings? When it's standard buildings like Walther's kits, I use the testers. stuff. You just have to know how to work the tip, the nozzle on this. They give you a thin wire. Use a pair of needle nose. You can get it cleaned out pretty easily and opened up. My opinion, best glue on the market. I'm not sponsored by anybody, just my opinion. For the PLA, you have to get a special glue. We use Bondtech is what we use for the PLA. That's for any 3D print stuff. And it has about the same, no gaps. It has about the same tack time as that Tester's glue has, which is pretty much immediately. Okay, so that is looking really good. So I'm going to check real quick here and make sure I'm not seeing any gaps here on this side where it has to go. Oh no, let's. That is pretty good. Maybe just a little bit of the cloth in the bottom. Again, right here. And right here, where these thicker bits of the print were. There we go. Check that real quick. And the way I'm checking this is I look through the corner here and I see if I see light on the table and coming through from the back. And I'm not seeing anything. Okay. So I think we're good. So we're going to give it a shot. Hopefully it'll do better than last time. Get this all out of the way so I've got room. So we're going to glue this front wall first. All right. Yep, see, it came right off. You just got to take the time on this to clean that neck. And make sure you have all of the glue off that. So I did grind all this, so I shouldn't have any issues. Sometimes it's kind of, any kind of super glue is kind of tricky, gluing super glue on top of super glue. But by using the Dremel and cleaning all this, I should be all right. We're going to set that back here. And we are going to get this all stretched out. And we're going to give this a shot. Well, I can already tell you right now, it's much better than it was. I don't know if it's going to be good enough, but it's definitely much better than it was. We shall see here what we shall see. I'm going to start at the bottom and I'm going to work my way to the top, pushing the corners together. Looks like the top's already adhered. I mean, it's almost instant. Sometimes in areas you have to work a little bit more, hold it a little bit longer. Not much, not much. Just give it some tack time here. Yep, that's looking pretty good. I don't see any light coming through. So if I've done this right, and I've got this pretty well squared off here, and well, the 45-degree angle so the glue does its job, I should be able to spin it here in just a second and put the back wall, attach the back wall to this frame. We're just going to push it here, push, push, push. All it takes a little bit of pressure for just a few minutes. This is much better than last time. I'm going to tell you that right now. I'm not going to. I mean, if I can't get it here with this, I don't really have to glue anything else. It's going to be fine. Because by the time I get the roof on, it's going to bring everything together. So it's just, oh yeah, oh yeah. It's already movable. Perfect, 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 perfect. That is so much better. All right, so what I'll do here is I'll put the glue on this piece to put it up here. And then I'll just hold that in. Yep, that I don't see any gap. Nope, it looks pretty good. I'll just hold this right here, like that. let that dry. And like I said, I'll be using the putty on a lot of this to finish up any of the areas, but it's looking pretty good so far. Yeah, okay. So let's just go ahead and we'll start with this corner, and then once it sets, then I can pry it out a little bit, and I can put the glue down here, and then that, and then we've got our main part done. So we've just about got this. I was wondering if when I was starting to have lots of issues, I was wondering if we were gonna be able to get this together, if I was gonna have to really work on it off camera, because it was just gonna take too much work to just kill time here. We got a lot of glue on there. Okay. Let's see how that does. I'm gonna try to line things up here. There. That's pretty good. Just try to hold everything together while it sets. Perfect. Trying to kind of like line up at that corner down there so I don't have to, I won't have to bend it too much. Thing just keeps rotating on me because it's already setting in spots, and I'm trying to get it, the bottom drawn in a little bit. There we go. So PLA is just kind of a different beast to work with, the filament, the 3D stuff, but you saw that huge tower. I mean, it's worth it. You just have to do a little extra work, a little extra thought process through getting stuff done. But it's because, like I said, you don't have like your standard stops. You know, like when you put a kit together, like from Walthers, it'll have those little lines on the inside of the wall where you butt the other one up to, and it gives you those areas that it stops at. You don't have that with this kind of stuff. I see very few kits that have come that way. Mostly you just gonna have to work it. All right, so that wall is good. That's good. And how are you doing? How are you going to come together? Are you going to be all right? We're going to just rotate this just a little bit so I can see the gap a little bit better. We'll see. We shall see. I may wind up having to put, and I've done this on 3D prints in the past. If I have a corner that might be weak, and there's plenty of room there to where I can put something on the inside, I'll come in with a piece of square styrene like this, cut it full height, and then just jam it on the backside after it's set up for a while. And that's just, just give yourself some extra strength. Okay. Got a big glop right there that just went down on the wax paper. That's why I work on wax papers, because super glues just don't stick to it. All right, let's see what we can do. Not a lot of gap. Let's see, this is the back side that you're not going to see. So actually that's all right. We just need to, I'm going to get right here, and I'm going to push together right here. And right there. And we'll hope that grabs. And like I said, if it gets most of it, then I'll just put a piece of styrene on the backside. Just to give it the strength it's got to have. I'll do that here. I'll just get a piece. I've got tons of that stuff sitting over here behind me. I'll just grab a piece real quick, cut it to size, and just stick it in there. So we are getting there. So now you can kind of see the shape of the building. It's really a cool building. Once I get the roof on, it'll square everything completely. A lot of roof sections to it. So once I get that on here, it's going to look great. It just feels like it's, well, there's a little bit of a gap right in the middle. The top and bottom is doing okay. There is going to be an issue though. And I'm not going to have the luxury of filing and sanding those two. So what we will do is we will go over here, and I grab one of my mini little packages. Oh, hello. Who was that? Random, okay. Let's see how this is gonna be. Make sure it's not going to be an issue for my windows. Yes, it covers the windows. I need something a little bit smaller than that. Let's see what we got here. They're all the same size. That's great. That's great. I got 180. Well, that's because I was using it for something. But I bet inside the box, I'll have a couple of small pieces of other stuff. So I'll show you my stash of styrene. Well, this is one of my stashes of styrene. Let's see here. One of my stashes of styrene. I'm sure I'll find something that's going to be in the bottom of this that'll work just fine. Now I'm thinking about it, I know most of my square pieces are that size because I was using them to make molds with. Somebody asked what scale this is. So this is all in scale that we're doing here. I'm just trying to find a scrap piece or a brace for this corner. I know I've got little bits here and there. I just got to find myself one. Oh, that might do it. Yeah, because it's thicker than that. But is it too wide? Too wide. So that's not going to work. Just trying. Oh, well. How about you? Yeah, you'll work. Okay. So I'll put this back down when I store all my stuff. Camera's on the tracks. It's sitting. The camera's actually straddling all three main lines. All right. So let's get this piece cut real quick and in here. I think that should probably. Don't come on. What are you stuck on? What are you stuck on? There we go. I know the bottom's pretty good. I just need to get the top. Okay. We're just going to get a piece about this size right here. Make a little mark, do that. Let's see, is that going to fit? Yep, and I'll put it towards the top. All right, so this should be the last piece we have for the foundation. Just want to get this corner reinforced.
Jacob's back.
Happy New Year, Jacob. All right. Now we're just gonna. Actually, I could have even used the tester's glue on this. Because if you have a piece of plastic that isn't the PLA, it'll melt to the PLA. It's just the PLA itself won't melt. All right. And I'm going to put a little bead right here at the top, and I'm going to let it run down the corner of that thing. And it'll run down it on its own. There we go. All right, so now I got to clean this top up like I've been doing. Because this is done. May look a little bowed, but when you do the roofs, it all is going to come in and be all drawn in and no problem. So you can look bowed right now. I don't care about that. All right, so let's get this top cleaned. And like I said the last time, you really got to make sure you get this well. You'll glue your lid to it. So I always start and I get the top right tip done. And then I run my fingernail into the actual threads that the top screws down into. And I'll just go right, I'll just back it right out, make sure I'm still in those threads all the way up and out. There we go. And then I'll get right down inside this lip right here because this stuff flows everywhere. You just want to make sure you do this, otherwise you're going to wind up with something like that. That was my first bottle. I wound up having to cut and do everything. I didn't think it was going to be this strong, or be able to. I didn't think it was going to adhere like it did to its own the bottle itself. I've never had that kind of a problem with regular super glues. So let's just do this. Make sure we got all this one more time, and then we'll let this sit for a little while we're working on other stuff. Okay, there we go. So then we'll just put right back down in there. We're good. All right, so this should actually be setting up. Yeah, it is. I mean, it's already doing good. That glue is fantastic. I tried a lot of glues with this PLA when we first got started with it, and I couldn't get anything to work. I even tried Fabri-Tac, which I'm able to actually glue plaster together with Fabri-Tac, and it just it attached it. It worked, but then it always had this give to it. So that was the best I could do until I found this stuff. So that works pretty good. All right, forgive me for a second. My throat's a little raspy, so I'm just going to grab a little water. While we're waiting for stuff to dry here, so I can show you what this is going to look like up here, we're going to go to work on, I need to get some stuff done on the track. We need to put the ties under these gaps, and then we need to retest the engines there because I want to make sure I didn't raise the rail by putting the new ties under. So we're going to do that. We did a little bit of that on Sunday, showing how to do that. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to have 6 areas I'm going to have to put ties under. Okay, so I'm happy. Could be. Shopping or getting ready for dinner, something like that. Okay, let me show you what I'm talking about here. So you see these gaps right here, here. We got one here, here, and down here. I need to fill those, and one more right over here. I need to fill those in. So we will just start right here and we'll work to either side. I don't want the little tripod on. I'll back this up a little bit. Okay, so I keep everything I cut on the ends. You cut these in, you open these up so you can get your rail joiners to move back and forth easy, so you can get your track together. Only thing that you have happen then is you get those gaps like that. So I always save all of my bits that I have. I'm just seeing what I have here. I thought I had some 3s left, but I guess I don't. Must have used them already, so I don't see any around up here. Okay, well, there is 1 3 here. So let's see how that is. Well, it's probably gonna take 4 actually. So I'll do a lot of these as a lot of the doubles. Okay, I need. Where's my little clippers at? There they are. Okay, so I need this right here, and I need this right here. And I'll explain that if you weren't with us. It's a file, a little square file. This is roughly the width of the rail joiners underneath. And then I use this, the flat one we were using before on the building. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this one since I was using it. I'm just using my little brush right here, and I'm just cleaning the end of it. I'm not going to do that over the tracks. I don't want plastic powder all over the track. Okay. So what we do is we're going to do these in groups. This is probably going to take 4 here also, because it's about the same gap as this. So what we do is you have to paint side up because this is all hand painted track. So you need to get rid of these little pins that are right here and the plates to make them smooth so that you can slide this stuff underneath. And then we also have to make a channel right here with the square file that will accommodate an area right here for these plates. I'll show you what I'm talking about here in just a sec. So let me get this first. let's see. I just worked that till it's totally smooth. And this will be it. The three main lines will be completely finished. I tell you, that back area where we were working that scenery today, it's drying up nice. It's still way too dark, but it's drying up nice. It's dark because it's wet. All right, so what I've done now is the ties are completely flush up here. There's no pieces anymore. But right here, I've got to make a channel that will accommodate the joint, the rail joiner. So I just take this, I place it right over where you see those little holes right here, because that was directly under the rail. And then I'm just going to go back and forth a few times and create a little valley, I guess you could say, a little valley right there. You need to do that on both sides. So get them right over those little holes. We're just doing this. And what this will do is by making that little channel, when you push this under, this extra width, depth of the rail joiner underneath here, you won't have a tie right here pushing that up, because this will nestle into the channel that you're filing. So you won't get a little raised area right here in your track. All right, so now that's done. Whoops. So now we got to clip off the extra little stuff. So I'll just take this, and you just want to clip these little bits off of that are overhanging on both sides. All you have is just the ties. Okay, so now get this kind of cleared out of the way. We're just gonna work it underneath. We're dealing with that those plates. Okay, I'm gonna get my trains. Yes, they are trains. Get my little pliers here. There we go. Okay, and I'll get it to settle down in that little channel I made. All right, so we got to do that a couple more times here. So we're just going to, same thing. I'm just gonna, and let me take a look from the side. Yeah, I didn't blow it up. The trains? No, I don't have any of that. Well, I have a Union Pacific back behind me that I use for testing. It's the Spirit engine. And the other ones are Montana Rail Link for right now. But I plan on expanding the roster pretty heavily for most of the major roads. Hobby Lobby has expensive prices on the train sets. Yes, they do. They do indeed. The Hobby Town that we go to had a fantastic price on a lot of their train sets right before Christmas. I asked if they were going to do another one of those sales, and he wasn't sure yet.
The professional says, "Okay, but where's Thomas?"
Where's Thomas? I get that question a lot. We don't have Thomas. We might eventually have, they make a couple of the engines in N-scale that you can run on your track, but I don't know. My son had a ton of Thomas stuff when he was growing up. All right, I'm making that little channel again. This piece is almost finished.
Cameron says, "I work for the CSX Railroad and my train number is 942."
Ah, so the fellow works for CSX. So what do you think about the merger? The possibility that you guys were going to do with BNSF. I know you're working with them intermodal wise now. You guys have got some agreement made up to where you're going to help each other out on the intermodal part. So here, now we'll just clip these little things off the ends like we did before, and I'll just see if 4 is going to do it or if I just need to do one of these. Somebody asked if we have a Southern Pacific. Nope, not yet. We don't have a Southern Pacific. All right.
Professional says, "LOL, just kidding."
Oh, okay. All right, so that, I'm going to spread these apart a little bit, and we're going to go with a single tie there, because that just made the gap too tight. So this will give me my single one for down here, though. That happens. It's hard to tell sometimes until you slide them under as to what's going to work and what isn't. So I'm going to just trim a single tie off of this. Just like this. And then we will come back in, obviously, and we will touch all this up with paint. All right, so let's see what we can do here.
Lotus is back.
Oh, hey, Lotus.
Adam says I just got hired with you.
Oh, well, congratulations. I know a lot of people that work for Union Pacific. What's that? SD40-2. Maybe the Union Pacific that I was talking about. If it was the Union Pacific, that's what I have is an SD70 ACE. All right, so that is good. I'm happy with that gap. So now we'll do the same thing here. I'll put 2 in to start off with, and we'll see if it's going to take a single or a double.
Jesse says
Choo-choo. Yep. It's choo-choo. Somebody asked if we have Lionel. No, we don't. That gauge is just too big in scale here for the size of room that I have. Like I was talking about, I have basically a 9-foot by 7-foot area here that I'm able to work in. I wouldn't be able to do really anything with any O scale stuff at all. With the area that I have to work with. I was even pushing it tight with HO. That's why we kind of ditched the HO until we move, and we will not move, but until we start the layout in the attic, in which case I'm probably going to be doing HO and in up there together. Once we get these in, we'll test the engines over the top. Make sure we didn't screw anything up with I don't think, it doesn't feel like there's a bulge there, but you just never know. So we'll. Somebody asked if Lifelike was the best one to start with train models. The Proto stuff, I think that's who Lifelike is pretty good. A lot of people will say the best thing as a novice, if you really just want something that's pretty well reliable but not very expensive, is Athearn. And I have to kind of agree with that. You're not going to spend a whole lot, and the stuff's pretty reliable and easy to do. So if you're looking to just, as an entry level into the hobby, I would recommend that. Somebody asked Kato, Atlas, or Bachmann. That's a no-brainer for me, but that's because I just like the performance of them, and that's Kato, or Kato rather. Okay.
Wade says the fact that the track is not straight is not helping.
Track not straight. Oh, right here, yeah. I got to tap the stuff. All I'm doing right here is, did I get this one? All I'm doing right here is just getting the ties under. Before I actually start ballasting all this, I'll come back through and I'll eye everything, and wherever I've got nails, I will tap and I'll add extra nails and I'll shift everything. It'll all be like the other side over there that's perfectly straight. This is just a work in progress because, see, actually, a lot of this track's not even going to be here. This is my switching area. So I just have this down as a temporary until I figure out where all my switches are going to go that are going to be getting all 3 of these main lines to be heading over towards the helix that we're going to have over there. So this is going to be changing quite a bit. So I'm not too concerned right now about this until we get to the point of having all of the stuff done. Because see, I'm going to be adding over here on this side of the board another 4 inches to accommodate staging tracks and a siding for a huge grain loading into a ship. So once I've gotten all that in, then I'll come in and I'll straighten everything. But as far as operational goes, it's doing fine. But yeah, I know there's glitches here and there, but by the time I'm done with it and have the ballast down, you'll never know.
Just want to say, as another man with big fingers, I'm amazed by the detail y'all do with your
Thank you. Yes, yes, big fingers, that's for sure. That's all the arthritis from all the artwork over the years for me. Um, my knuckles are huge from the arthritis, from 20, 30 years of drawing, doing railroad art. Um, it was fun to do, but it sure took its tolls on my hands. Okay, so there. Yeah, we've got a spot right here. This is kind of, see, I put a nail in. Well, there's probably going to be a switch right here, so that's why I'm not too worried about it. But if I was going, I would tap this out a little bit further here, and I'd bring this in a little bit here, and we'd line that up, and it'd be perfectly straight. So that's why, as long as the engines keep operating, it's fine. And I'm right here, the joints, they're just perfect. So. Oh, New Year. Yes. Happy New Year. And thank you. All right, so next one we got to deal with is that.
Dale says, hi here, hi there, first time coming, hi there, first time looking into N scale. I have a pocket scale coming. I think this is really a small scale display.
Making a small scale display. I'm assuming just like a display to just show off the engines and cars. You can always make a small little module, do something with, background like this behind it. Or, a building or something, put some scenery down, make it look really good. Depending upon what kind of room you have to work with, in scale, you can do a lot. And I'm going to back this up and I'm going to show you guys here in just a little bit. Again, I'll do a tour of the whole layout in just a little bit here. I just want to get these areas right here finished because I want to do some more testing, and I'll show the layout while we're testing the engines around. So once we get to that point, then I will I'll show you what you can do in a limited space with N-Scale.
It says I have a little N scale frame layout. Run my N scale locomotives with the track
Yes, you got to keep everything clean. There's a great cleaner out there. I've got one. It's buried right now. You clip it to your rail, powers it. It's a little red device. It's about yay big, about like that. And it's got brass bristles or metal bristles that come up. And you plug it here, and then you set your engine on it, and it powers the engine up because you've got power going to it. And the bristles power the engine, and it cleans the wheels. And real simple to do. A lot of people don't know about it, but it does a fantastic job. I recommend that highly. That's what I use to keep all the track clean, or the wheels clean. The track I keep clean with. I found mixed results with cleaning cars, so I just use 600 sandpaper, 600 grit sandpaper every now and then.
Dale says, thank you for that advice. And Everglass says, well, everyone, happy New Year. So I have Christmas baby calling me. Have a great rest of your day.
Oh, well, you too. Happy New Year and Christmas, baby. Well, that's wonderful. Congratulations.
Mark asks, what ballast do you use?
What ballast do I use? My ballast for all of this is this right here. I use the blend, the gray blend fine ballast. I'll show some here when I get this done. I'll show you how it looks over here on this other curve. This right here is just painted road bed. I do the gray so that when I put the ballast down, if I don't get complete coverage, it hides it. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. This is going to be, this might cause a problem here. We'll see. Right on this joint.
And Drake says, I sometimes use microfiber cloth to clean my track.
Well, that should do it. Yeah, microfiber cloth should be pretty good. All right, and I need to come down a little ways. I'm going to try to get this up and over this gap. I need to bring this down so I get a little more distance right here between those two. And this will all fill with road bed, so all this torn up stuff here you won't even notice. All right, so that's pretty good right there. Now, how do we do? I don't feel a change, and I don't see a change in elevation there and height. So is that going to take a 2 or a single? Two will be kind of tight, but it'll probably look better than just a single be too gappy. All right, so I'll do a double. And of course, we paint all these ties. Here, I'll show you. Here's that gray blend right here. Here's the ballast for the gray blend. It really is. I like it better than just a solid color. It gives you really good depth and everything. So that's what will be through the whole layout. I estimated that it's going to run me probably about 20 hours to ballast the whole thing. But that's all right, because to get that kind of an effect, you got to put the time in. N-scale big boy. Ooh, lucky guy. That's one of the bucket list engines for this layout. Which is why I really worked on these curves to make sure I could handle 6-axle diesels. If I couldn't handle 6-axle diesels, there was no way, even though it's articulated, there was no way I was going to have a big boy make the curves. So that's why I've been taking a lot of time. I'm just filing. Just in case you wonder what I'm doing, I'm making my little channels. I'm filing this flat to get rid of all the little bits in case you've just joined us. And I'm making my little channels that will make up the difference for those plates that I have underneath there. But yeah, so if I didn't get 6 axles working, there was no way I was going to do any big articulated steam engine, or even like a 10 class, like a 210-4 or something like that. There was no way I was going to be able to run those. Okay, let's see here. What do we got? This is probably going to make these gaps a little tighter than I want, but I think a single. That's just too much. It's just going to be a single, and I'll spread them apart a little bit more. That is just a little much, a little too tight. Here we go. Come on. There we are. Bring that down to about here. Could probably bring that over just a little bit more. Just to spread. There we go. Now that it's up on that, it's doing fine. And how do we do? Okay, I'm going to have to deal with that before I run the train over it. And I'm going to do it right now while I'm thinking about it. So it's going to get noisy. Going to get noisy. So give me just a sec here. Hello, David. It's got a bit of a wound on it that I've got covered. So I've just got it covered up so I don't get anything in it. Okay. So I don't know if you can see where I'm working right here. Yeah, you can. Could be a big gap on each side, or thank you. So let's see here what this does. All right, so there's a 3 with gaps. And this is gonna be, so
Mark
I,
says, I've always thought a custom scale rail grinder would be cool. Even if it doesn't function, it would be awesome.
yeah, that would be pretty cool. Okay, so this is such a bigger gap, 2 of these is gonna be fine. Okay, so I'll just do 2 of these. Yeah, rail grinders are fun to watch. You see them on virtual rail a lot. I've seen them at least a dozen times or so. They catch them and they use it usually on their highlight clip. If you watch their highlight clip on Fridays over the weekend, that's when you'll catch stuff like that. Now we are definitely getting there. We've almost got, well, we're well over halfway there. So I think this is doing all right. And this station down here is drying up pretty good, so I'll be able to move it over and show you guys where this station's going to go. And then I know one of the other things I wanted to do today is I needed to deconstruct, take apart that the old station platform that was going to be for when it was over on the opposite side of this wall instead of where it's at now. So, doggone it, lost my ties. I sanded too much. So I think what I'll do is I'll just save those and I'll just put them in place and then they'll glue down. Hello. Glad you joined us. Let's see here.
Mark says, I've seen rail grinders in person a couple times. Once at night, it was amazing.
Oh, I bet nighttime rail grinders, that'd be pretty cool. All I've seen on virtual rail has been daytime running. That would be pretty neat. Okay. I lost the ties on this. I had sanded through quite a bit, but what I'll do is I'll save these. I'll put them right up on the top, up here on the pink. And when actually they've got the thing that goes underneath it there. So actually I can actually just go ahead and push them into place. It broke on the other side. Oh, that's interesting. There we go. Okay. That'll be fine. Perfect. Okay. So that's good. All right, so we got one more of these to do, and then we're done all the way around this curve, and we're going to test it. We are doing all right here. We're making pretty good time on getting all these little projects done. On Saturday, we come live again. We're going to talk about a big project that's going to start. We're going to start working on. It's going to be over here, that way, against that far wall over there. There's going to be quite a build project that we're going to have over there that we're going to make it available for you guys to be a part of it. So we'll have a lot of details about that this weekend. Again, all I'm doing is just filing these ties and getting these little channels made. You're not missing anything here. You're hearing the filing working, and then I'll push it underneath there and we'll be done. We're gonna be testing here in just a little bit. As soon as I get the rest of these in. There we go. Yeah, that was definitely 4. A little bit right there. So a little more grinding and we'll be ready. So it's gonna get noisy. If you have to do any rail grinding like that, I always catch the inside so that it's just as smooth on the inside of the rail as it is on top. And that's just easier for the flanges on your engine to negotiate that and not have a derailment issue. Okay, so I just wanted to get this guy right here. We got one more to get, and I think this 3 one that I have right here is going to be perfect for this. I don't have to do any extra cutting. Yeah, that'll be fine. So just got to file this guy down, and we pretty well got it. So as soon as I do this, I'll give you guys a layout tour, those that have just joined us, and we'll get the engine rolling. I'll do a quick dust off of the tracks here of all the sanding material, and then we'll hope that this inside track has been a real bear. I messed my radiuses up, and I wasn't able to get 6 axles to work very well. But now they are. So now as I'm going along doing this, I'm trying to keep everything without changing things too much, so I don't create any issues for myself. So if it does, then I'll tackle them as I go. It's only one of the 3 main lines, so but we'll see how it does here. I'll put my best running engine. I've got my best running engine. They're all great, but my smoothest running, they're all Katos. We'll put the Spirit on here, and we'll take it around and see how it does. It has, I don't know what the deal was on it, but it just seems to be more limber than the others. Helicopter trimming trees along the tracks. That would have been pretty wild. Oh, well, then thank you for subscribing.
Cameron says, might try aligning the track before grinding. I did just join.
Do what now? Repeat that.
You might try aligning the track before grinding. I did just join, so maybe
Most of it is aligned, but I'm to the point right now where I'm not too worried about everything being perfect because this is all still in testing phase. And before I start doing ballast, I will spend an afternoon coming in and aligning absolutely everything, just so that everything is straight. We got no issues. And like I said, along this whole area here, this is all temporary anyway, because there's going to be probably 10 switches through this whole area right here to be able to get all of our stuff that we stage down here headed over towards the helix. And I'll go over all that here in just a few minutes. Okay, so that's pretty good right now. I'm tired of working on this. I've got one more spot here, but I'm not going to mess with that. So let's get walking tour, or not one. Let's just do a quick tour of the layout and where we're at right now. And I'm going to get this engine running and let it go around a few times just to see how we're doing. I'm just checking all of my surfaces of the rail where we have all these things just to see how it is. Seems to be okay. All right. So I'll go back. I'm going to switch back to I am on it. Okay. I'll get the engine going, and then I'll grab the camera, and we will. So I'll show you real quick. These are the 3 engines that I test with right here. So one we're going to be doing is on the inside loop. We'll be taking out the Spirit right here and let him do his thing.
Cameron says, cool, I should have commented before.
Oh, no, it's all right. It's comment. Definitely comment. It's better to find out what we're doing. I'd rather have questions and be able to answer them so you know, it doesn't look like we're just a fly-by-night, that there are processes that we go through. Okay. So here come, well, that was the first one. Sailed over that. Sailed over that. Still fine. No, all right, here's our first big test right here. No derailment there, and no derailment there. Okay. I'm just going to let that go around while I'm talking about the layout. Okay, so we were working on this today, and I'll show you where this goes. It's going to be going up right here. We'll be spanning across the track right here. And this big building right here, this guy is going to come out, sit over the track, and the station is going to go right here. I'll pick up the station. I'll show you guys. Yes, this is in scale. We're going to be putting, this will all be, the passenger platform is going to be underneath here with stairs coming down from the station. That'll all be coming up very, very soon because I'll have this station is going to be pretty much done within the next week. The next set of skyscrapers of the 30 that we're going to be doing is already being printed. We're going to have one go right here. Well, we're going to have like 25, 30 skyscrapers all stacked all along here, and all along here. This is all turning into city. We're going to have a couple of overpasses here. This whole area right here that we've been talking about, this is where all the switching is going to occur. I'm going to be adding a piece of wood right here for some extra sidings, and then we're going to have a huge grain unloading into we've got an STL file for a beautiful grain ship, a large one like they have on the lakes. And right here is where we're going to switch off. Everything's going to combine in, and we're going to switch off right over here, and it's going to go to the helix. And the helix will take you both up and down. Going up, it's going to be so we can get up to both the street level and for our elevated track level right here. And then going down, it's going to take you down to this lower level that we have right here. That right now just got a bunch of HO stuff stored on it. That's all going away. Going to have a mountain back here in the corner, and we're going to have probably a lot of industry stacked right in this area right here, going back into this corner, and then a beautiful station that the STL file is pretty expensive, so we're having to hold off on that for a while. Big, beautiful station right here with the turnaround right here, the loop turnaround right here that will go back in, that will head back to the helix. So that's where all of that is going. So you're going to see a ton of different types of buildings all along here. It'll be enormous. Oh, well, thank you, Brian. Probably most modifications that are a little more complicated are like the B unit I did right here, where I take a undecorated regular engine, take the cab off, and I've got to put all the B nose stuff on there, and things like that. So that's those are some of the more custom things I do. I want to check the wheels here, make sure nothing's come off. It's gone around a few times. Nope, it's doing fine. So these areas are all okay. I just got to get them painted to make them blend in so you can't really tell. You can see here, like these are, I've got these repainted now. Those have all been painted to match right here. And then what's, like it is over here. I can't, there's where my joint was here, and you can't even really tell anymore. I'll touch those ties up there a little bit better. So that they match kind of like this. So that's the effect we're heading for. And since we repositioned all the lights, now you can see a lot of the rock face. You couldn't see that before because our lights were all back a little ways. Now you can see all that. Now what I was talking about as far as deconstructing goes, I'm going to take this apart today right here. And I'm going to be putting that front right along here. And I'm going to use my heat gun that I have in the back one. I'm going to curve it to match the curve back here. Because this should be dry now. So let me see if this is pretty dry. Yeah, it's pretty dry. So basically what's going to happen with this is it's going to be sitting, here, let me move this out of the way. Let me get this cream colored building, we'll move it. You're going to have to talk louder, I got an engine going by. Somebody wondered how we ran the power to the track. It's right here. It's going to be hidden. You won't be able to see it. It's going to be underneath the station. This is where my hard wiring goes down. These are the leads right here. I'll be creating down here some sort of a, control area to handle it. Okay, so anyway, back to the station. All right, so just imagine, well, it's here. I'll put this out here. Let's see, am I going to be able to, or is that going to be on the track? No, it's going to be on the track. So you'll have this kind of a platform through this whole area custom made for here. And then this is going to stretch across the tracks kind of like this right here. And then this big building is going to come out a little ways and be next to it over the top of the tracks with all of them passing under it just like this. So that's how this station is going to go. If I could If I could put that back. You know what? Well, no, I don't think that'll work. I could, here, we'll do this. I'll stop this train. I'll bring it around, and I'll stop this one so I can span the thing over the tracks. And then we'll change over to one of these others so we can kind of you can kind of get an idea. Okay, so let's put this just here. I'll go to that inside track, that far track over here. So just imagine having a custom thing here that's going to fit the space perfectly so the tracks pass under it perfectly. And then that kind of sitting like that over it at some sort of an angle. Because what we're going to do is this is going to come in over here and we're going to create kind of a park right here between the two and some rail fan areas on either side so that when the trains pass under, you can kind of see how that's going to look. And we'll keep this open here on the side so that when we're videoing, you'll be able to see the passenger trains when we pull them in underneath for the ladders down. And you'll be able to see the passenger platforms. This is all going to be lit underneath here. So let me back this up. I want to kind of see now that that's sitting there, what that's going to look like. This is the first time I've had that in place like that. Well, that's going to look really nice. That's a nice size station for a huge tower like this. And this is actually going to go up to about this height right here with the roof, and the clock tower will be about that high right there. So that'll actually be perfect. I was really worried that was going to be a big enough station, but I think it is a good enough station. I think that's a good enough size station for it. It's big enough for up here. Probably could stand to be a little bigger for a city that we're making, the size of the city we're making, but I think that's going to be all right. Yeah, I think so. Okay.
Isaac, study had to get a split for that X-Acto.
I've had a really deep cut with an X-Acto. Had to get a couple stitches for it, but that was a long time ago. Okay, so anyway, so you can see here, those that are with us that are new, here's the elevated track. This is going over, and we're having two tracks right here that are going to go together and behind all the buildings, between the buildings, working its way around all the way to here. And then we'll have an upper track coming across here, or it'll split off and hit the helix and head down to lower levels. So it can come down here and connect up with these mains, or it can go down to our lower level that's going to be right here. So that's pretty much, that's where we're at right now at this point. So yeah, put that right there. You can kind of really get an idea of what that's going to look like in that corner right there. I think that's going to look really good with all of that being custom ironwork right there, I-beams and stuff. You won't see a lot of it, but you will when we're filming down low like this. You'll be able to see the beams like that with those stations over it. I think that's going to look really, really good. Okay, so I'll show you something that's going to be here on Saturday. Right here where this is, this whole area right here, we're creating something really big. It's going to be our biggest building of the entire layout, probably. It's going to be a twin tower affair. Let me get this out of the way. It's going to be a twin tower affair right here, and it's going to be taller than this one. So we're probably looking at 3 feet tall, so it's going to be way up here, both towers. We'll have a lot more information about that on Saturday, and if you want to become a part of that build, you'll be able to. So it's we're going to have it here. We'll have the foundation parts of it already in place. It's going to take a big area. It's probably going to take, since it's a twin tower, it's probably going to take this whole area right to here. But it's going to be a really impressive building sitting here in the corner, and I'll have these brackets out of the way up here so it won't be a distraction. And then again, of course, we'll have the masonite covering all of the windows with the backdrop. So we'll talk more about that project coming up. So I'm getting kind of tired. I think this is a pretty good build day today because this got done. We got all of this done right here. On Saturday, I'll probably go ahead and paint out a little bit more, and we will go ahead and finish. And you'll be able to see then how this really dries up to match over here. We'll get rid of all this darkness, and it'll be nice and light. The sand is just really wet right now. So we will just go ahead and come along here. I'm only going to come out to about about right here with all of the landscaping, because after this point right here is when all the switches start. And I'll do the same thing over here. We'll finish this up on Saturday too. I'll go ahead and finish painting all of this before Saturday, filling in the gaps. And I'll get this right here. This is the patch piece I had to put in to accommodate having to make this more of a flat curve. So I'll have all that taken care of. So we will have all of this on Saturday. And probably go ahead and I'll break this down and we'll start. We may actually go ahead. I'll do some measurements over the next few days. And we'll go ahead and get some I-beams made so we can go ahead and stretch all the way across. And it'll just be a matter of measuring and putting these extra sets of I-beams in here for support. Because we're going to have a lot of support for the towers sitting on top and this big station right here. But that really does give you an idea of kind of how it's going to look. Just this is going to come this way over the tracks. So that's pretty good. So we should have our next, we're going to have two more sets of towers. We're going to have a set of towers here going up, and we're going to have another one that's going to be sitting probably like right here. We'll be in the middle of doing that. That may be here Saturday, some of that, maybe not. We'll see how it goes the rest of the week. So I think that pretty well covers it. So let me turn this off, and I think we're pretty good. So I'm going to set this back over here. We'll put this right here. I'll get it refocused over there to where we were. I didn't realize we've been going for 3.5 hours already. So there we go. Oh, and I'll get the rest of the ceiling, between now and Saturday, I'll get the rest of the ceiling lights figured out where we won't have these dead areas of light. So that when we're working on the scenery and stuff, there'll be lights directly overhead shining down in every area. Right now, I'm about 3 feet from where we were working today, so we were getting a lot of shadow, whereas if I'd had a light right here, which I will have by the weekend, I'd be able to light that whole area up. So we will have it pretty well organized. Like I said, we'll go ahead and do the landscaping out to there. You saw how we did that. And then I'll show you how nicely that dries up. We get the really good effect of it. Again, we'll have the lights out here. And when we have the lights out here, I'll be able to put the camera in better places. So you'll be able to see, like right here when we're doing this, I should be able to just put the camera right there and aim straight down. So there'll be nothing blocking your view of how we do the landscaping right there. But anyway, so this is going to be really fun. We're moving along pretty good. Yeah, I really like how that is. And you can see how good this glue is. I mean, we only finished gluing this total thing about maybe a half an hour, 45 minutes ago. And it's solid as rock now. So we may glue all the roof, if I can get the roof sanded. A lot of ifs for Saturday or Sunday. If I can get the roof sanded, we'll try to tackle that. If not, we'll do that one day next week. So I'll get everything put away so I don't knock anything over. And I think we're pretty good. All right. Well, do what? Oh, okay. So I hope everybody has, if you haven't had it already, because in some places you've probably hit New Year's already, come and gone. So I hope you have a safe New Year's Day if it's already happened for you. And for those of you that hasn't yet, I hope you have a very safe New Year's tonight and have a fun time. We will be here in the new year, still working on this. Again, just to recap, it's a 7-foot by 9-foot double layered space. Even counting adding this on now, and what we're getting ready to do over here, we've only got $450 into this entire layout. That's everything, just everything, except for rolling stock. That's the only thing that doesn't count. So I'm showing how you can do this on a decent budget, not having to spend too much. We're probably going to spend no more than, I'm going to guess, between $1,000, $1,200 to do everything. So, but we'll keep you up to date on all of those numbers and everything, so you can kind of see. So if this is something you want to try yourself, what you're looking at to be able to do it. It's not taking too much to have to do. So again, Happy New Year, and thank you to, wait, right here at the end, I need to do this. Well, not need to do this, but I want to do this. So the past 2 weeks, we've had quite a bit of people that have, what are they called?
Gifts and super chats.
Gifts and super chats. So I just want to say a big thank you to all those. Dumplies, Timothy Starner, Nick Butuso, Henry Diaz, Ricky Monroe, Cat 2187, Kane, Andrew B, Beetlejuice Hero, Desire Studios. I'm going to say Tay Hearn Williams, Past Steve. I can't reach her. Is this a D or a P?
Oh, that's Davey 3.
Oh, Davey, I didn't see that as an E. Davey 3, Pat McD,
Mm-hmm.
Andres Rodriguez, Diane T, Connor Scott, Cog, Detonate, and do you have the new ones, or we'll just post those for
I've
today?
got Namaste Plays. You got Connor Scott, I think. And you got Cat.
Okay,
And Desire Studios.
okay, yep, did those.
Yep. Yeah,
Okay.
that's.
All right,
Mhm.
so thank you all for your donations on that. They're great. It goes right back into the layout. Everything we get off of this goes right into it, so we can do more videos. We can show more tutorials on how to do things. So it's just going to go straight back into it. So we appreciate it because we're working on a budget on all this, just because of how life is. So anything like that has really helped, and I just want to say thank you very, very much. So again, Happy New Year. And hope it's safe for you. And we'll talk to you on Saturday. Hopefully, we'll see you then.
Yes, thank you.